to believe in 4 short years this has become a season unto itself in Northern California. The playoff season, the Stanley Cup playoff season. And the San Jose Sharks are right in the middle of it as they will face Trevor Kidd for the 3rd straight game in this series. In the regular season, Kidd was outstanding. Made 43 appearances, won 22 games, had 3 shutouts. And at the other end, again, Artur Zerbe. He made 38 regular season appearances, 14 wins, 4 shutouts, and a 3.26 goals against average. The referee is Mark Fossett, the linesman Ron Asseltine, and Ray Scapanello. The alternate official is Lance Roberts. Kevin Constantine has already pulled off an upset, stealing the first 2 games of this series in Calgary. Now he and the Sharks are trying to wrestle control away from Dave King and the Calgary Flames by an almost overwhelming measure. If they can win their home games, they're on their way to the next round, but there's lots of work ahead. And we're underway as the Flames have it from the face-off, dumped by Steve Chason up to center ice. Back the other way, the Sharks force it into the Calgary zone. Now Paul Cruz works it behind the Sharks' blue line. Flames are caught in a delayed offside as Jim Kite has it for the Sharks. A pass for Falloon. Broken up. Here come the Flames. Paul Cruz a shot, and it just missed high. Comes all the way off the boards down into the Calgary zone.
Short shift. Jamie Baker with Janney and Pat Falloon with a starting 3 up front for the Sharks. They go out there for about 30 seconds, and a new line comes up.
Here's Joe Nieuwendyk back in the lineup. Here's a rebound to Paul Cruz, and he scores! Joe Nieuwendyk on the ice for the first time in the series, and he helps create the first Calgary goal. It's 1-0.
Well, puck doing some bouncing inside the Shark zone there when Joe Nieuwendyk, who did not play in the first 2 games, dressed in this one. The first shot on goal by the Calgary Flames finds its mark. There's the shot. Rathje in front with one of the Calgary Flame players, but the shot coming from pretty far out. Here's Nieuwendyk letting the shot go. Here's Zerbe backing in. Now the puck's going to slide over to the other side. And here's Paul Cruz getting that on his forehand, far side, stick side, beating Artur Zerbe to give the Flames the 1-0 lead in the inside the 1-minute mark here of the first period.
So for the 3rd straight time in this series, the Flames have scored first, and Paul Cruz has scored first. He also scored the first goal in Game 1, which the Sharks won. Second goal of the playoffs for Cruz. Nieuwendyk picks up one of the assists. We'll wait for an official scoring play on the other, but silence the crowd a little bit, but they tend to bounce back quickly here. Frank Janney trying to play it out of the zone. Another turnover. Mike Sullivan waits the dive by Peterson. Now shoots, scores! Mike Sullivan with a goal, and 2 minutes have not gone by, and it's 2-0 Calgary.
Well, the only good part of all this is that it's very early in the hockey game, but the Sharks are just standing around basically as when somebody's got the puck and somebody goes after him and challenges him, you have to take him out, eliminate him, and finish your check. They do not do that. Here comes Sullivan with the puck. Look at one going by, one sliding, missing. Now Baker decides to come back. 2 Sharks, you notice, out of the play on that one, and just a quick shot in the net, and suddenly, very quickly, the Calgary Flames have got themselves a 2-0 lead. And there's Sullivan letting the big snapshot go. Beats Zerbe 2-0.
An unassisted goal for Mike Sullivan. 3 points in the first 2 games. That's a huge 4th point for the former Shark. 2 goals, 37 seconds apart inside the first 2 minutes, and Calgary doing exactly what they had to do, and that was control this game from the onset. We'll see if the Sharks can bounce back. They have bounced back from 2-0 already in the series.
Only 2 minutes into this game, but they're going to have to get their act together. We got a penalty coming up against the Calgary Flames right here, a high stick.
Trevor Kidd comes out to control it, and Mark Fossett indicating the penalty, and the Sharks will go to the power play, and perhaps this is what they'll need to right the ship.
Randy, what the referee is holding up is 4 fingers. That sounds like it's going to be, or looks like it's going to be, a 4-minute penalty. There you see Jason Moore cut on the left eye. That was a stick by Titov that caught him. Here he comes behind the net. Herman Titov is coming in. Look at that stick up in the eye area. That's the same place that he got it in game 1. Goes down. There is blood, but I'm going to take a look. Look at that stick coming up right in the face, catching and pulling back Jason Moore. And Herman Titov is in the penalty box, and the indication is it is a 4-minute penalty.
And clearly, Jay Moore is cut, and I'm wondering, Pete, if this was the regular season, if Titov wouldn't be gone.
Well, if it's intent to injure, he's out of here early with the early shower, but...
Well, in the regular season, quite often, even if it was accidental, players were ejected.
Well, you know, that's a situation where, you know, he got that stick up almost immediately. It's not like he was going for the puck and his stick accidentally got up. So Dave King over there, the Flames coach, is getting a first-hand explanation from referee Mark Bussett.
The Sharks' power play was 25th in the regular season with 24 goals. Calgary's penalty killing was 4th best in the NHL. They had lots of practice. They were penalized more than anyone else. Sharks' power play has been impressive in the series so far. Ray Whitney along the boards trying to gain possession for the Sharks. Now Janney has it. Craig Janney centers for Whitney. Back to Lariana. He'll take a shot. Kidd gives the rebound up, but in front of the net, Zalapsky is there to send it down the ice.
Maybe this will be the wake-up call that the Sharks need. They've got 4 minutes. If they score, that guy stays in the penalty box for the duration.
Here then is Makarov, dumps it in, and the Sharks will chase into the Calgary zone. Kidd, his first ever NHL playoff season. Now behind the net, it's Janney. Janney looks in front. Whitney there. Janney gives for Makarov. Now to Rafji. Rafji, wrist shot. Kidd, the save. Rebound comes to the right side. And Ronnie Stern ridden to the blue line, but is able to clear it. Larionov got it at the Shark line. Now to Makarov. And a breakaway for Theoren Fleury. Fleury, short-handed. And Irbe with a great poke check on Theoren Fleury. He lost his stick, but made a great play. Back come the Flames again as now finally Irbe gets his stick, and back the other way is Jeff Friesen. Friesen pulls up, waits for help, gives to the left side for Dahlin. Dahlin's got it. His centering pass broken up by James Patrick. Now Kevin Miller with it on the far side. Ozelin shot, that was partially blocked. Fleury quickly sends it down.
How big a save was that? Well, you go down 3-0 and get one shorthanded against you. Boy, that would have been tough to come back.
Now Dahlin behind the net. Sharks still on a power play for another 2:25, but the Flames will burn a little more off the clock with this clear. All crews now back to pressure Irbe as it comes up for Tom Peterson. Just got it by Sheldon Kennedy. Peterson stood his ground at the line, knocked the puck down. Now Dahlin in the slot, winding, shooting. It hits someone, comes deflecting to this side. Or Kennedy, and Kennedy plays it up for Cruz. One man back, Ozelin. Cruz, though, was held up at the line by Friesen, and he just wastes more time as we're down to 1:55 now on the double minor against Calgary.
Sharks just haven't been able to set this thing up. It looks like they're very jittery, like they took a real solid right hand to the jaw in the first 2 minutes of this hockey game. They got to regain their composure.
Here's Falloon trying to go wide around Phil Housley. He takes it behind the net, and checked by Stern, who came flying in there. Falloon tried to advance it up for Rafji. Now Joel Otto gets it, and he'll clear it out. Irbe just waiting for Larionov to get back.
They've only so far, about 3 minutes of penalty power play here. They've only had a couple of shots on goal.
Janney drives it in as Falloon overskates it, and it's cleared again by Otto. And Calgary doing a very sound job of killing this penalty so far. Janney for Lariana. Wine shoots. Kidd the save. Nobody there for the Sharks. Falloon a little late to get to the rebound. Now it's Makarov. Ozelin at the point. Tipped by Fleury. Now it's up for grabs. Makarov gets it back. Gives it right back to Fleury. Fleury ahead to Sullivan. And now behind the play, the Sharks. Sandis Ozelin's called for a penalty. Here's Sullivan. Scores!
The Sharks are just not into this hockey game at all. As Sergei Makarov gives the puck away, he's in the slot, gives it to a Flame. Flames break out 2-on-1. Ozelin already was going to get penalized, and the former Shark Mike Sullivan just keeps driving, beats Igor Larionov, goes wide. He's got good speed, and on the backhand gets that up and over Artur Irbe for his second goal of the period, and the Calgary Flames with a runaway 3-0 lead. Here he comes down. Now look at the puck. He throws it between Igor Larionov. Now he takes a couple of strides, gets control of the puck, lets it go up and under the arm of Artur Zerbe, and Calgary taking advantage of their opportunities. A shorthanded goal.
Mike Sullivan, and he has silenced this crowd single-handedly. 2 goals for Sullivan. He had 1 career playoff goal in his life coming into this Stanley Cup year, and he has 2 in the first 5.5 minutes here in Game 3.
Well, let's look at the keys of this game. See how they've affected this. Only 2 need 4, and you know, the complacency and thinking that this was over for the Calgary Flames. We see that's not the case. Going to the net, Trevor Kidd is a young goalkeeper, creates some traffic in there, and we talk about finishing checks. Got to go after guys like Fleury, Nieuwendyk, and not release them. They like to roll over, beat you one-on-one, and Sharks are going to have to get their act together real quick and get to work here. A long way to go.
The Sharks are still on a power play. Peterson ahead for Friesen. They'll come across center ice on the backhand. Centers it for Dahlin. It hit his skates. They score!
Jeff Friesen's going to carry this puck, get the puck from Tom Peterson. He's going to go wide. He's going to take a defenseman with him. Going to the net is Miller, but Dahlin's going to get the puck right here. It's going to hit his skate. See that? And goes in front, and they're going to take a look at this one to see if he got his stick on that one or if he directed that one in with his skate. Let's take a look at it. Middle of your screen. Dahlin's coming in. Here's the puck. There's the stick right there. He's got the stick. No question. That is a goal.
Absolutely, and certainly from that vantage point, Mike Shanley in the middle of your screen is the video goal judge, but he doesn't seem to be busy right now because I think it was quite clear that that was a good goal.
You know, initially that puck hit his skate and was rolling towards the net. Had it got in, no question, wouldn't have been a goal, but clearly on that shot, you saw that he got a stick on the ice. No question about it. It's up on the board, and it's a 3-1 hockey game.
Well, the goals are coming in bunches.
Yep.
The first 2 scored 37 seconds apart by Calgary. The last 2 by Sullivan and then Dahlin 25 seconds apart.
Yeah, 18 goals in the first 2 games. We've got 4 already today, so who knows what to expect the rest of the way here. But that was a big uplift for the Sharks, getting that goal, something they desperately needed.
So much irony in this first period because it was Ulf Dahlin who made it 3-1 in Game 1 when the Sharks came back and won. And he's done it again here in the first period. Sandis Ozolinsh tees it up. Kidd directing it to the side. Sharks trying to find that puck. Ozolinsh now getting support from Ray Whitney. Makarov up the middle for Ozolinsh with Larionov. Igor diving for it. And a penalty to Calgary. Hooking the indication will be back in a moment. Series for the Sharks so far. He talked about playing at home and how important it is for the Sharks.
It should be. I mean, the thing some people take for granted are home games, but I mean, you still have to work just as hard. And we have great fans. We have some of the best fans in the league, if not the best fans in the league. So we have almost, the 6th man.
Baker resting right now as the power play unit comes back on the ice for the Sharks, but Jamie had a huge Game 1 for the Sharks. There's Michael Nylander in the penalty box for hooking at 6:14, and the Sharks are presented with another opportunity to make amends for their rather terrible start to this game. It was 3-0 just a couple of minutes ago.
So much has happened. We've only played 6.5 minutes.
Frank Musil for Calgary playing it up the boards. Ozolinsh held it in momentarily. Now played back into the Calgary zone as Musil gets back. He'll work it up to center ice past Ronnie Stern. had a third shorthanded goal in the series for Calgary in this period. The Sharks with their fourth power play goal in the series. Here's Dahlin in the corner. Let it go to Ozolinsh at the point. Now back to Friesen. Friesen giving for Dahlin. Back to Jeff Friesen. Now to Ozolinsh. He winds, moves, passes, shot saved by Kidd. As Tom Peterson used his good outside shot there from the left side. Here's Kevin Miller with Friesen. Friesen trying to find it in the crowd. And finally it's taken away by Frank Musil for the Flames. He'll dump it down the ice with 1:05 left in the power play. Urbe behind the net, gave it away to Ronnie Stern, who scores.
What are you going to do? When Urbe goes out of the net, it's always an adventure, and two short-handed goals in one period for the Calgary Flames as Urbe goes behind the net, and he's just undecided of what he's going to do with this puck. The puck's coming around the boards now. He's on his backhand. There he is with the puck. He would like to bank it against the boards. Instead, go on your forehand and drive it around. Does not do that in the net, and it's a 4-1 or a 4-1 lead, and we got a goalie change coming up.
Yes, we do. There's the goal scorer, Ronnie Stern, his first of these playoffs, but Urbe's done for the night, and we've played just 7:15 of the first period of Game 3, and a stranger Sharks playoff game there has not been, at least so far.
Well, you know, you take the goalie up, you think maybe, well, you know, he's the guy, but the Sharks in front of him, not much protection, but that was not a good play by Urbe on that goal.
Flaherty in the regular season played 18 games, won 5 of them, had a shutout and a 3.10 goals against average.
Well, you're getting a chance to stretch. At least he didn't have to sit there that long, about 7 minutes or so, and so he's still got to be warm. And the dejected Arturs Urbe takes a spot at the end of the bench. And the only silver lining in all this, Randy, if you can find one, is there's a lot of hockey to be played still.
Boy, is there ever. And the way this series has gone so far, you don't really expect things to clamp down into a neutral zone trap type of style because it's been very wide open. Sharks are on the power play for 58 more seconds. They've given up 2 shorthanded goals in this first period. And they almost turned it over again as Rathje tried to get it by Sullivan, who almost had a chance at a hat trick. Jason now for the Flames, slaps it down the ice. Flaherty out to settle it for Igor Larionov.
You got to be hungry, you got to be determined, you got to be mad when you step on this ice. And the Sharks came out and they just weren't awake. They're in a daze. They're behind the 8 ball big time right now.
Janney couldn't get it across the line. Now here's Sullivan breaking away. Mike Sullivan, and he shot high. Charlie Zalewski at the point with 15 to go in the power play. He'll back away, and Calgary will try and kill the rest of this as they fire it deep. Larionov plays it to this side for Makarov. He's forced back by Nieuwendyk. Now Larionov, as the penalty's about to run out. Igor into the slot, gives to Janney, waits, and Janney passed right to Nieuwendyk when he had a clear shot.
It's when he's got to shoot the puck there. He's in a perfect position, tries that one extra pass, and the Flames intercept it.
Jeff Odgers on for the first time, sends it in as Trevor Kidd has quite a nice lead to work with at this point. Moore has trouble at the line. A 4-on-1 for Calgary. Nieuwendyk shot, and he got a weak one away. The rebound, and Flaherty with a great stop off Nylander.
Oh, breakdown up front. In the playoffs, you cannot allow 4-on-1 breaks.
Right now, the ice seems tilted. The Sharks are trying to find their legs, trying to find their rhythm. The Calgary Flames are trying to find a way back into this series, and they're doing pretty well, at least so far. But we've yet to play half a period. 10:53 left in the first. 4-1 Flames.
Defensive breakdown here. The Sharks 4-on-1. Nylander's involved. Here's Nieuwendyk taking the shot. Flaherty does get a piece of that one. Puck bouncing around. Now look at Nylander coming in. Knows he has to get it upstairs. Does, but Flaherty just got that arm up in time to make that save.
Now the Sharks on the attack as Dahlin lets go with a shot that went wide. Now Frank Musil for the Flames trying to clear it. Can't. Ozolinsh trying to punch it ahead for Dahlin. Gets it to Friesen. Now to Dahlin. A touch pass broken up by Patrick. Give the Sharks credit. They are still getting opportunities in the Calgary zone. Penalty, though, coming up here to Ozolinsh as he upended Titoff as Titoff tried to break out of the zone.
Well, you know, Mark Fawcett is the referee. He was way over on the other side, and I think what he saw was a Calgary Flame player skating and suddenly falling down, and Ozolinsh behind them a little bit, and I think that was more of a reaction call by the referee than something that he saw directly. But Ozolinsh on that point, instead of getting the puck in deep, he loses it. Series got possession right there, loses it, and here comes Titoff breaking out, and just a friendly tap by Sandis Ozolinsh, but enough to draw him a 2-minute penalty.
Ozolinsh sitting in the penalty box for tripping at 9:40. He was actually on his way to the penalty box earlier in the period, but Mike Sullivan scored a shorthanded goal. Calgary with the 12th best power play in the regular season, and the Sharks penalty killing a tie for 14th overall. So the Flames get their first power play of the game. They haven't needed power plays. They've scored on 2 Sharks power plays. Here's Joe Nieuwendyk. His wrist shot handled by Flaherty and then cleared. As Wade Flaherty is getting his first ever taste of NHL Stanley Cup playoff action. He was the winner when the Sharks beat the Flames for the only time in the regular season, 5-3 up at Calgary. And now Zalapsky upended in the zone, but that put the Flames offside, and they'll bring it outside for the faceoff. Well, we drew up a comparison of the Sharks' first 2 regular season games against Calgary compared to the first 2 playoff games. In the regular season, the Sharks split, scored 5 goals. In the playoffs, they won both and scored 10. The shots, well, they shot more in the playoffs. The power play was more effective for them in the postseason as well. Sharks certainly didn't dominate the Flames up in Calgary in the first 2 games of this series. Urbe, who you see there, did surrender 8 goals to Calgary, but he made some big saves when he had to. It just hasn't worked out very well for he and the Sharks early on here.
Shots on goal, 8-5 for the Calgary Flames, just over the halfway mark here of the first period. So they're 50%. That's darn good. There's the Calgary Flames.
Fleury chased by Friesen. That's a good matchup speed-wise. As if there's anybody who can stay with Fleury, it's Friesen. And actually, Fleury would probably have a tough time staying with the rookie. Flames holding it in as Zalapsky tries to get it past Friesen. Now trailing is Jim Kite with some skating room. Kite throws it back toward Tansel. Just missed on that pass. And Tansel sends it in as the Sharks back out and change up. Calgary on a power play here for 40 more seconds. This is Nieuwendyk. He's tied up as Tom Peterson takes it. Housley couldn't keep it in. And Trevor Kidd will be forced to play this. Here's Housley. Ahead for Nylander. Nylander to the line. Leaves it for Zalapsky. Wrist shot saved by Flaherty. Rebound with Kissio battling with Baker in front, and Wade Flaherty hangs on.
Well, that's what the Sharks need, is the toughness in front of the net, and Zalapsky's going to let a shot go towards the net. The right idea. Kelly Kissio has positioned himself in front of the net, but Jamie Baker doing an excellent job of taking him out of the play and allowing Flaherty to see this one all the way. Here's Zalapsky with the shot. Just a quick flick shot on the net. Flaherty with that left pad out, but there's Jamie Baker in front of Kelly Kissio, not allowing him to get that stick on the ice. Is the most talked about guy in this series so far is the guy who has not played in the first 2 games, but he's in there tonight, Joe Nieuwendyk.
What an advantage I think he gave the Flames, though, Pete, just by stepping on the ice tonight. Their captain was back, and even if he's not 100%, clearly he's had an impact in this game. The Flames are maybe not at 100% full strength, but one of their weapons is around and playing. Chase on from the point. Good timing on the block by Baker. Now down low it comes to Kissio. He's bumped by Peterson. And the power play's over. Sharks need to get the puck, though. And Flaherty will take it from Miller and hold it for a face-off in the Shark zone. But at least they escaped out of that unscathed. It is 4-1 Calgary on Sports Channel. The strong series. He talked to us about his dealing with the 4 years of criticism he's faced from some corners.
Well, I try not to think about it, but there has been a lot of stuff going on for 4 years. You know, I guess that's expected. Things are going to go on outside of the game, but it's nothing you can really control. You know, personally, I just want to go out there and do the best I can and not think about the media or other things outside of winning hockey games.
Well, got a goal in this series so far, getting that one in game 2, and that's true. There are high expectations for Pat Falloon. Good solid year, I think. I picked it up a lot when Craig Janney came in here and became his center iceman.
Well, the faceoff coming up here in the Shark zone, and things have returned to normal for a few seconds here. Even strength. And Joel Otto in the faceoff circle with Igor Larionov, who is going to have to leave as Ray Whitney will take his spot. Otto powering Whitney out of the way, but the puck comes to Makarov. And Sergei, the former Calgary Flame, plays it to Ozolinsh. Nice drop pass for Whitney. Thought about a shot, then backed off, gives to Larionov. Now the Sharks on the attack. A pass intended for Makarov, but he couldn't get around the pack. In front, Whitney trying to get his stick on the ice. Occupied by Frank Musil. And now the Flames come out of it to center ice. Musil just flips it in out of the reach of Wade Flaherty. Here's Whitney now trying to catch up to it. He falls, sends it deep. Kidd settling it at the side of the net.
Well, it says the story of what's happened in the first period. Whitney skating down the ice. Nobody touches him. He goes to Turner and he falls.
Chris Tansel turning and looking as Fleury's up at the point. You want to be careful when number 14's in the area. And Tansel able to work it clear of the zone up to Dahlin. Sharks trying to make a line change here. Dahlin flips it in. And Kesner back first for Calgary. Can't get it out. Peterson, short pass for Friesen. We've got company from Nieuwendyk. Now Fleury on the opposite side. And Nieuwendyk trying to get to it. Good play by Peterson as he stood up Joe Nieuwendyk in the neutral zone. Here's Tansel back the other way. Peterson trailing. And Tansel tried to do it alone against Chason. Couldn't get around him. And Kidd is able to cover up with 6:54 left here in the first.
Joe Nieuwendyk, who has been a Shark killer, 6 goals during the regular season for Joe, but he took a good solid hit for a guy who's a lot smaller than him. Tom Peterson catches him with his head down just across the blue line.
19 goals in 23 career games against the Sharks, and he's second on the Flames with 28 playoff goals. He was around for the Cup back in '89, and he got welcomed back to the playoffs here, Pete.
Here we go. Welcome to the National Hockey League playoffs. Joe Nieuwendyk, as Tom Peterson wasn't worried about the puck. He was going to stay with Nieuwendyk all the way and caught him with a good, solid body check.
Nieuwendyk missed 4 straight games with his back injury, the last 2 of the regular season and the first 2 of this series. There's the shot totals in this very bizarre first period of Game 3.
Baker gets the boot out of the face-off circle, and Craig Janney jumps in.
And Reichel wins the face-off. Keep an eye on that throughout the game to see how the Sharks fare in the face-off circle. They did not fare very well in Game 2 as the Flames dominated in the face-off department. This is Michael Nylander. Works it up, and now Steve Chason trying to control it.
You see the difference right there. Puck is dumped in. Who gets back gets the puck first. The Flame has enough time to get the puck on that first pass out of the zone. It's too easy for the Flames coming out of their end.
Janney will lift it clear of the zone as Chason gets back. Calgary scored early and often. 43 seconds in, then 37 seconds later, and they've scored 2 shorthanded goals in this period to tie a Stanley Cup playoff record. 3 other teams have done it in the history of the league, and the last time it happened was back in '81. So the Sharks making history of a less than desirable kind here tonight. Joel Otto clearing it out. Rafchi trying to find it in his skates. Now waits for Makarov to clear the zone. Sharks controlling at center ice. Here's Makarov to the line. Lots of traffic as Calgary had 4 people standing at the line. Makarov fights his way clear. Whitney partially fanning on that. And now James Patrick will just Bump it up to center ice with Calgary changing.
What happens when you get behind like this, everybody becomes just a bunch of individuals, and that's not going to work. You still got to work as a team out there.
Here's Kissio on a breakaway, and he never got a good shot from behind. Ozelinch was able to knock it off his stick.
I don't know how he got that open and had that much room coming in from the blue line. Sharks are just not tuned into this hockey game at all.
They need the end of this first period to come as soon as possible, and it's 5 minutes away. Assess the damage and then start all over again.
Stop the bleeding quick.
Here's Moore slapping it in. You mentioned the one thing going for them is the amount of time left in this game. Here's a chance. Falling is Miller with no one around him.
Talk about it.
Out there in Fleury. Ahead for Nieuwendyk as Fleury goes to the middle. It comes behind the net. Fleury in the corner, bumped by Miller. And Allen is able to get to it. He'll just poke it across and up to Friesen at center. Two men back for Calgary. Friesen backing up, waiting for help. Sharks are on a change. Now coming is Ozelinch, but it's behind him. Andre Nazarov, first shift of the game. He overskates it. Fleury flips it clear of the zone.
Nazarov and Odgers out there, so look for a little bit of hitting going on this shift.
Sharks need to get some bodies between the Flames and the Sharks' goal. Baker losing it. It comes back to Ozelinch. Reichel hooks him to the ice, and that's a penalty. Robert Reichel getting that stick in the gear of Sandis Ozelinch. That'll put the Sharks back on the power play when we come back. Reichel off for hooking for Calgary at 16:09, and the Sharks have a little life here late in the period.
He's chasing Sandis Ozelinch here, and he just reaches out with that stick underneath, right on those pants, hauls him down, and that's the hooking call right there.
Kind of an unnecessary penalty for Reichel to take in the offensive end. Nonetheless, he took it, and the Sharks will try and take advantage of it.
A little over 3 minutes to go here. A goal here would be a major uplift for the Sharks if they can put one in.
Joel Otto, one of the best Calgary penalty killers, sends it down, and quickly the Flames make a change as Sullivan switches with Otto. And they get that speed of Mike Sullivan on. He already has 2 goals in this game. Here's Makarov now with Janney and Nazarov. The pass out of the reach of Janney. Trevor Kidd with help from Zalapski, but they can't get it out. Now Janney trying to control it behind the net. Zalapski has it. He shovels it up above the glass and in the crowd. Well, it's not hockey without ice. Bud Ice and Bud Ice Light, the official beer sponsor of the NHL.
Well, still 1:14 left in the power play, and for the Sharks is in a situation where Kevin Constantine looks down that bench and see who have I got that's going well that I can put out there, and over the other side, Dave King's wondering, boy, is this too good to be true? But look up there, it's a 4-1 Flame lead.
Frank Musil just freezing the puck on the boards. Now it comes out, a race for it. Fleury lost his stick. There's a shot. That was knocked down by Patrick. And now a break. Here's Tedov with Fleury. Theron Fleury. Saved by Flaherty. And he makes a second save. What a second stop off Guermont Tedov by Wade Flaherty.
The big save, I think, was on Fleury there. I don't know whether Tedov got all of that one or not. Nevertheless, Flaherty, 2 saves. Big ones.
The Sharks still have not come together here in this first period. They are as disjointed as they have been in a month.
A step behind and a couple of seconds later. Nobody seems to want the puck. When they're winning and they're going well, everybody wants it. Nobody wants it tonight.
Here's Friesen now to Dahlin. Oh, pulling up at the point, trying to send it forward. Had some trouble with the puck, and Kesmer sends it deep with 14 to go in the power play. And Calgary again has had the best chance. Here's Whitney, up for Ozelinch. Gets it wide to the left, gets it back, wasn't expecting it. Way too much traffic. And Friesen, who had a good chance down the left side, passed it right into trouble. Here's Stern.
You're passing it to a guy who's standing right next to you.
Flaherty breaks up the pass from the side. Now Tansel up the wing for Baker. And Phil Housley will collect it for the Flames, who came an eyelash away from setting a Stanley Cup playoff record. That would have been their 3rd shorthanded goal of the period.
Should be an interesting intermission for the Sharks.
Here's Falloon, left side for Baker. He got a step on Reichel, who then tied him up. Played off the glass up high and down to Chris Tansel. He dumps it for Baker. And Cruz and Reichel sandwich Baker. Here's Chason just sending it in. And the Flames continuing to dictate the pace. Cruz off the turnover, gets it back, tried to go around Rafji. Now Rafji trying to clear it up the boards, tied up with Cruz. Up comes to Mike Rafji as we're down under a minute in this first period. Rafji collecting it behind Flaherty and ahead to Pat Falloon. Falloon with Nazarov on his left. Falloon to the blue line, drops it for Andre Nazarov. Nazarov's wrist shot goes up in the seats, and that'll stop play with 33 seconds left. Well, coming up in our first intermission here on Sports Channel, we've got a jam-packed lineup for you. We'll visit with Tom Peterson, Sharks defenseman, talk about the first period and the playoffs so far. Brian and Jim Fox rejoin us with first period analysis from our Sports Channel studios, and we'll check the other scores around the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight.
Oh, here comes that 2-on-1. Fleury with the shot. Now look at Titov coming in. Doesn't really get that much of it. I'm not even sure whether Flaherty got that one or not. It looks like it sailed by, but you're going to see Ozolinsh with the puck coming down, and I don't know who he's throwing. There's the pass right there, and there's a pass right into traffic. See, Friesen's on the outside, and instead of either breaking hard for the net or shooting it, he passes to a guy who's covered.
Peters slap shot from the blue line, kicked aside by Kidd. Now Nazarov's going to go off for hammering Theron Fleury, who is shaken up. Penalty to the Sharks, and hooking the call as the Calgary trainer is on the ice to see Fleury. Jim Bearcat Murray attending to Calgary's top player this year.
What happened is Fleury was going into the boards. Nazarov was behind them, and you know Nazarov is so big and so strong that he really doesn't have to push guys too hard. Then he got that stick, I guess, a little bit, and it looked like Fleury was going down, and Nazarov may have just given him a little bit of a tug there as Fleury's up and he's on the bench. There's no problems with him, but Nazarov is going to spend some time in the penalty box. We talk about Odgers and Nazarov, guys who didn't get much ice time in the first couple of games, but they're tough guys, like to use the body, and they definitely have their legs because of the lack of ice time they've got in the first two games. So I would think that Kevin Constantine may use those guys a lot more here in Game 3.
Stat of the night so far might be Calgary has 5 shorthanded shots. The Sharks have 5 power play shots. So 10 shots on the 5 Shark or on the Shark power plays, but 5 of them were for the Flames. And now there's some discussion over at the Sharks bench as linesman Roy Scapanello is over there, and now the referee Mark Fossett is in Fleury's face over on the Flames bench.
I don't know whether they want more of a penalty on that play or what, but I mean, if they're jawing at each other, I mean, that happens. The guys are going to yell, scream, and say things to each other. It just goes in one ear and out the other. So I don't know what Fossett right now is talking to Kevin Constantine about. It could be about the guys, or maybe a trainer or something like that is saying some things back of the bench. So probably go over there and tell both these teams to calm down a little bit. There's too much at stake in this playoff game to take something unnecessary as far as the penalty is concerned.
There's Dave King, and he does not show the emotion of what's transpired in the first period. Theron Fleury's all right, back on the bench. And Calgary with their second power play. They're going to have to hurry here, though. They won't have much time in this first period. It will carry on to the second. That's the time left here in the first, and mercifully it's about to end for the Sharks, and they will hopefully regroup. This one's certainly not out of hand yet, but it could get that way unless the Sharks get their game together as the first period comes to a close. Hardly what one would have expected, but then again, that's the way this series has gone so far, as the Sharks won both games on the road, come home to a sold-out house, and this is what happened. Paul Cruz scored 43 seconds in. Then Mike Sullivan, unassisted. Quickly, it was 2-0. Then Sullivan again, shorthanded from Fleury, 3-0. The Sharks got one back on the power play as Dahlin scored to make it 3-1, but Stern again shorthanded to make it 4-1, and that is where we stand after 20 minutes of play, as the Sharks have seen the Calgary Flames explode here in the opening period and take advantage of every mistake. At the end of a period, it's the Calgary Flames 4, the San Jose Sharks 1. Now to our Sports Channel studios we go. Brian Weber and Jim Fox. Back live at San Jose Arena at the end of period 1 of Game 3 of this best-of-7 series. The Calgary Flames leading the San Jose Sharks by a score of 4-1. Randy Hahn with you live here at San Jose Arena after a very strange opening period to the Sharks' opening home game in this series. Joining us live now is Sharks defenseman Tom Peterson. And Tom, that was about as strange a period as the Sharks have ever had in the playoffs. What happened?
It's not something we wanted to come out with, you know. The fans here are so awesome that and then we came out with that effort. It's unfortunate, you know. We're still in the hockey game, though. Don't count us out yet. You know, we got two periods left to play, and we had a lot of scoring chances in that period, and Flats came in and played great, made some great saves.
I mean, clearly you were going to face a desperate hockey team tonight. Maybe the first time you've faced a team in as desperate a situation as Toronto in Game 6 last year. Did the Flames have that much of a jump on you, did you think, from the onset, or was it just a series of miscues?
You know, they got some bounces early in the game, you know, and like we had some bounces in Calgary. You never know, and you get some bounces and you get opportunities, and if you capitalize on those, you're going to score goals, and they did, and that's about it.
All right, Tom, let's talk about something that did go well for the Sharks. You welcomed Joe Nieuwendyk back into the playoffs personally with this hit in the first period, and I know you weren't necessarily trying to get things going for the Sharks, just doing your job, but he gave you a chance to get them pretty good there.
Yeah, you know, we got to play the body on him. Even if, you know, he's got a bad back, so what? You play the body on him regardless, otherwise he's going to hurt you big time. And, you know, maybe he'll think twice about cutting back to the middle next time, and, you know, we just got to keep putting the body on him and wearing him down.
Tom, let's talk about this series so far. Before tonight, 2-0 with both wins at Calgary, and there might be some people who didn't see the games that would suggest the Sharks stole those games, but you really had to work awfully hard to win both those, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, we played well in both those games, and Calgary played well too. You know, people say, oh, you know, this and that about Calgary. They played well, and they had some great chances, and Artie was awesome, and came down to goaltending at the end in those first two games, and Artie was hot, and we got some goals early on him. I mean, you see what you know, a couple goals early in the period does. Just gives you a lot of confidence. And Calgary's playing with confidence right now. We got to take the momentum back here in the second period and get things back on track and get our fans into it.
Well, you said it, Tom. There's lots of time left, 2 whole periods, and it's sometimes tough to play with the lead for that long. I guess you have to go into the dressing room and say, let's just outscore them 3-0 the rest of the way, and at the very least, we've got a shot at overtime.
Yeah, we're going to take one, you know, get one goal at a time, see if we can get one early, and you know, the ref's keeping it pretty tight, so, you know, he's called some penalties. He's probably going to be calling them all night long, and so there'll be some power plays and penalty kills. We can capitalize on our power plays and kill off the penalties. We're going to do okay.
Tom Peterson, congratulations on your success so far in this playoff series. Thanks for the visit. Thanks. After a very difficult period for the San Jose Sharks, where they were manhandled by the Calgary Flames. Now, as we go to break, let's reflect back on an outstanding highlight from this past season.
Ready to go as Zezel leans in for the faceoff and takes it to the corner from Janney. Now it's centered in front. Here's a shot, blocked in front of the net. Dahlin tries to wrap it around. Backhander, the Sharks score. The game is tied, and Sergei Makarov ties it up, and there is no end to this plot.
2 minutes, Herbe has been pulled in favor of Flaherty. It's 4-1 Flames on the Super Lotto Intermission Report. Welcome back inside our Sports Channel studios. Brian Weber rejoined by Jim Fox, the former Los Angeles King. While the Sharks would clearly rather play at home, This is not that huge a disadvantage, you think, for Calgary to be playing on the road, given their playoff history and all the scrutiny they face in Canada.
Brian, Calgary couldn't wait any longer to get on the road. In Calgary, the media's on top of them. The fans are there. They haven't won a playoff series going back to 1989 when they won the Stanley Cup. So to get out of town, they come together as a team. You get away from all the distractions. You put your mind on hockey. It's more of a positive atmosphere when the Flames are on the road.
Were you surprised the Sharks came out flat? It looked like they were standing around defensively early.
Well, maybe the tension. They are a young team, and they were standing around. And we're going to go to the telestrator and show the second goal of the game, and they were standing around. The pregame, I talked about the Sharks protecting the middle. They did a great job at that. Well, watch here. They don't protect the middle well. Back checker, stop it here. Janney, he moves out of the middle. Falloon, he will move to the board. So the middle is no longer protected. Sullivan just holds on. He makes a drag move. He makes a nice play, but look at him. Now he has the middle open. The Sharks try to regain and get back. They do get back, but that middle is open too long, and he gets a clear shot on goal.
When they need a critical goal, they look to Ulf Dahlen, and we touched on it in the pregame. Good things happen when you go to the net.
Dahlen's an outstanding player, and he's a leader all the way for the Sharks. Pete Stemkowski just mentioned the big key for the Sharks in this game is going to be to drive to the net. Well, Kevin Miller does a great job driving to the net. Away from the puck, he takes everyone with him. We'll go to the telestrator here and watch it. It starts in the neutral zone. The puck is being carried, and Kevin Miller is away from the puck. His job is to drive to the net, open things up for someone else on the ice, and Dahlen will benefit right here. They gain the zone, freezing with speed. Stop it here. Now you see Kevin Miller. He's going to go to the net. Dahlen's just going to fall in and hang in for the rebound. And if you watch even closer, Kevin Miller will draw two Flames to him. Kicks it off the skate right onto his stick, and Ulf Dahlen puts it in. So that's the one bright spot. If it is a key for the Sharks to drive to the net, certainly Kevin Miller did it there, and he took everyone with him, and Dahlen was open.
In games 1 and 2, the defensemen were able to jump to the opposite zone and flood the opposite zone. Are they not getting back well enough tonight?
Well, it may be the decision process, making the decision to stay in. On a 4-on-1 that happened against the San Jose Sharks, Jay Moore was the defenseman. Now, he was kind of hanging around the blue line deciding, do I jump in or do I go back? Well, on the play, he made the wrong decision. He stayed in too deep. He really doesn't have much support. Jason Moore is down here. The puck is not really being controlled, but the Sharks have 3 men down deep in the zone. Watch Jason Moore and his decision. Turnover happens. He still tries to go to the puck. And once he misses, it's 4-on-1. Now, it doesn't turn into a goal here. Actually, a great save will be coming up by Flaherty. He'll reach out right here. Nylander tries to go high with it, and Flaherty's there with a glove. But certainly, the decision-making in Game 2 by the San Jose Sharks defense were outstanding. Right there, Jason Moore stayed in a little too long. He couldn't get back to help out.
The Sharks have already given up 2 shorthanded goals in the first 20 minutes of action. The most glaring one, Urbe wanders out of the net. Stern cashes in. What's Urbe's thought process there? Is he playing percentages, or the other thought is stay in there? At least you're going to have a shot of knocking it down if you're between the pipes.
Well, I know Kevin Constantine wants him to stay in there, but the thought process for Urbe is to try to be the third defenseman, to get back and allow the other defensemen or people coming back to help out to clear and build up speed so they can go on attack. They're expecting a good pass from Urbe. Now, Urbe is known for not handling the puck that well, so the Flames were right on top of him. Ronnie Stern knew, hey, I'm going to get on the goalie. A lot of times that forechecker will just turn away from the play, but because it's Urbe and because of the reaction, they know he's not going to handle it well. They force him and look for the turnover.
Flames outshot the Sharks 12-6, outchanced them by a 2-1 margin. Sharks had the only power play goal on 5 shots, but they gave up 2 shorthanded to tie a Stanley Cup playoff record. So the players back on the ice as we go to break. A Southwest Stanley Cup moment. Underway, Flames shot by Housley wide as they open the period on the power play with Andrei Nazarov still in the penalty box from an infraction that spilled over from late in that first period. 4-1, the Flames leading the Sharks here in the opening moments of the second period of Game 3. Zarley Zalapski throws it back toward Joe Nieuwendyk, broken up by Jim Kite. Now Chris Tansel can't clear it out. Here's Nieuwendyk with Zalapski in front. Nieuwendyk backs up to the line. Now plays it along the boards for Reichel. Reichel checked by Jay Moore. And Kite trying to slap it clear. Moore will lift it over the blue line.
And now to 40 seconds in the Nazarov penalty.
This is Kevin Miller on the far boards in the Shark zone. Dumps it past center ice. Sharks have to get out of this little jam here first and then start working and chipping away at the Calgary lead. Miller to the line. Nice move there by Peterson, but it's poke check right to Nylander. Now a breakaway for Kelly Kissio. Kissio moving in. Scores! A power play goal for Calgary's Kelly Kissio, and it's 5-1.
Bad line change for the Sharks. They had the puck at the blue line, and instead of getting it in deeper, had some guys jumping off, and they just couldn't get back on time. You're going to see Peterson with the puck getting checked. Now Miller's going to grab it for a second. Now there's Kissio wide open, and a couple of Sharks trying to go back, and he just draws it wide and slides it underneath Wade Flaherty. A power play goal. Here's Kissio one-on-one on Flaherty. Waits, pulls it wide, and Flaherty extends that right leg about as far as it can go, but Kissio makes no mistake on that one. Catches just underneath that goal stick, and the Flames with a 5-1 lead.
Nylander and Housley get the assists on the power play goal by Kissio, his second of these playoffs. And the Calgary Flames have now already scored more goals than in the first 2 games of this series, when they lost by identical 5-4 scores.
That puck was up by the blue line, so the defensemen for the Sharks figure, well, if it's that far up, let's get off and get a change. They hit it off. Guys who were coming on couldn't get into the plate quick enough, and Kissio was home free.
Reality is rearing its head here tonight. The Stanley Cup playoffs are tough to get into, and once you're in them, they're tough to advance through, and we're seeing why.
I think the only thing we can look back, as you mentioned, back in March, late March, the Sharks were down 4-1 to the Winnipeg Jets. Came back and won that game. Well, a little different team in Calgary and a little different circumstance in the playoff.
Sharks won that game eventually 6-5 in overtime on a Jeff Friesen goal, but they were never down 5-1 in that game, and that's where they're at now. And they need 4 goals, and they need to shut Calgary down the rest of the way just to force overtime. And that was not the way Kevin Constantine wanted this second period to begin at all.
Well, you know, Randy, this is going to be a long series. I mean, nobody said this was going to be quick, 4 straight before it's gone. So I think with Kevin Constantine, obviously you still want to think you can win this game. Long way to go, 17 and change here in the second period. You got a whole third period to go, but you want to get some positives coming out of this one. You like to chip away, like to score some goals, get some hitting in there, because if you don't win this game, at least you got something good to carry you into the next one that's coming up on Saturday.
Mike Sullivan, the former Shark who had a knack for scoring shorthanded goals when he was here, has one of those tonight, and also has an even strength goal. Here's Janney dumping it in. Falloon after it, but Chason gets to it first. Now Janney trying to lift it off the boards. Blocked by Chason. Falloon digging away as Sullivan gets back and throws it across for Zarley Zalapski. He misplays it into Jamie Baker, but now recovers and sends it to the other side. Moore held it in momentarily. Sullivan will break it out to Theron Fleury. Fleury. Pass. Score! Joe Nieuwendyk, and it's 6-1, and this is getting very ugly.
Well, I'll tell you, that starts way down at the other end with Zarley Zalapski going in the corner, and the Shark player coming in and not finishing the check, taking him out. Instead, Zalapski just rolls off the check, gets the puck out of the zone, and you give Fleury and Nieuwendyk a 2-on-1 scoring opportunity. Those two guys are awfully good, and they're going to take advantage. The clear comes out. Here comes Fleury, gets the puck off the boards. He's got Joe steaming down that other side. The only guy back is Jim Kite. Look at that perfect pass right on the stick of Nieuwendyk. Makes no mistake in slamming that one home.
Nieuwendyk, his first of these playoffs. Fleury and Sullivan the assist. Mike Sullivan's third point of the game. Here's another chance. Kissio a blast. That's stopped. The rebound comes to Stern, and he tried to bat it up high. Ronnie Stern still with it. Gave it away to Ozolinsh. Now Sanders trying to get it up to somebody at the blue line. Turned it over. Fairmont teed off, and Ozolinsh go to the puck. Ozolinsh trying to reach out for it. Tedorf has him tied up. Here's Kissio. Kissio drops it. Tedorf there. Friesen took Tedorf on the boards. And now Ronnie Stern lost it. Here comes Friesen to center ice. For Dahlin. Housley across. Nice move by Dahlin. Dahlin trying to center it. It's in front. Knocked away, but a penalty coming up against the Calgary Flames. That'll put the Sharks on the power play when we come back. But it's Calgary 6-1. For interference at 4:08 here in the second period. Have to keep reminding ourselves it is still so early in this game, but the score is, well, not out of hand, but it is certainly very one-sided. There's some fans who believe that the Sharks will put the Flames out. If it's going to happen tonight, it's going to need some kind of comeback. Well, happy birthday to that man, Mike Rathje. Rathje celebrating his 21st birthday tonight, and it will certainly be memorable for one reason or another.
We can finally get rid of that fake proof they all carry.
Not Mike. Mike's a man of honor. Got one of those Canadian video rental cards that says he's 21. Sharks down by 5 here. And it's chopped back into the Shark zone. Wade Flaherty shouting out some directions to the defense as the Flames.
You just pick here, pick there, and try and inch a little bit closer.
Balloon weaving his way into the zone, then lost it. Flames clear it back out. This is Tansel. Now Kite. And he has trouble with it. Stern picks it up, but he turns away, and gosh, Calgary's already playing to kill the clock.
You see the jump. I mean, there's a loose puck, red jerseys on top of it. They don't hesitate. Shark players are really basically just looking. Somebody's got the puck, and they're looking to see what he's going to do with it instead of skating and getting open so they can receive it.
Makarov up the middle, nothing but room, and the pass broken up and cleared down with 40 seconds left to go in the power play. 6-1, Calgary leading. They have scored the last 3 goals in this game and also scored the first 3. There's an Dahlin goal in the middle there. This is Peterson, throws it in front. Larionov's backhand stop as Kidd forced to make a rare save, and it comes back to center ice. Only the 7th shot on goal for the Sharks in the game. Makarov almost ran into Titov. Now he comes to center. Sergei to the blue line, but the Sharks go offside as Sandis Ozolinsh mistimed his rush on the right wing.
7 seconds less to go in Kesmer's penalty as Sandis Ozolinsh taking a breather. A couple of goals in game 2. The main man as far as the Sharks were concerned is the offense. Played in every game this year, all 48. 3 other guys did the same. Jeff Friesen.
Well, you can see by his demeanor that the Sharks are in anguish right now as to the way this thing has gone so far. They have never been out of a playoff game this early in the game. There's the shot total so far. 15-7, better than a 2-to-1 ratio for Calgary. And they have generated those shots in every way fashionable. In fact, we've only had 3 even strength goals in this game out of the 7. The rest have come on special teams. Here's Sean Cronin at center ice. Dumps it back toward the Calgary end. Their power play, the Sharks, is over. As Friesen throwing his weight down low on Housley. Here's Dan Kesmer trying to work it out for the Flames. Sullivan playing it up for Theron Fleury. He and Cronin bump.
Cronin's, I believe, first shift of the game.
And now Jay Moore with it. They'll play it ahead to Dahlin. Dahlin has a goal in each of the games of this series so far. In fact, he had a goal and an assist in the first 2. Here's Theron Fleury. Fleury flips it into the Shark zone. Flaherty will steer this aside to Tom Peterson. Awfully tough for the crowd to play a factor in this one at this point. But every little positive will be noted for sure, as the Sharks haven't had many tonight. Flaherty, who's been in net for the last 2 goals against after replacing Artur Zerbe. Another steal at the line there by Kissio. He just dumps it to the corner. Flaherty trying to get it out. Kissio throws it toward the net. Nobody there. And at least for the moment, the intensity in this one has come out of the game for a bit, as Calgary right now are just content to waste some time when they get an opportunity. Cruz is upended. That'll be a penalty against the Sharks. Calgary will go back to the power play. When we come back, it's 6-1 Flames on Sports Channel. Jamie Baker's in the box for holding at 7:32 here in the second period, putting the Flames on the power play.
Well, you're going to see what's going on. He doesn't have to take a penalty here. Reaches, and instead of putting his head down and trying to catch up to the Calgary Flame player, he grabs him by the arm and pulls him down.
Chris Cancel out there on the penalty kill unit with Rafchi, Friesen, and Ozelinsh as they send it down. Third power play try for the Flames. They have one power play goal. It's those two short-handed ones that really sting. Carried into the zone. Reichel dumps it to the corner. And Rafchi emerges from the pack to try and clear it. Housley holding it in. Here's Reichel. Tied up by Rafchi in the slot. And it's cleared out. Almost given away to Friesen by Zarley Zalapski. 11:50 to go here in the second period. 6-1 Calgary as they have exploded here in Game 3 with clearly their most impressive performance of these playoffs and maybe of the last couple.
They were the desperate team coming in. They had to win this one. They were all business from opening faceoff.
Michael Nylander turning away from traffic in the neutral zone. Nylander just circling with 50 seconds to go in the power play. Puck comes off the boards. This is German Titov out to the high slot for Housley. Housley sends it back along the boards to Nylander. Check. Titov wide open in the corner, moving to the puck. Kite moves him off it, and the Sharks clear it. And the crowd appreciated the check by Jim Kite on German Titov.
We'll have to see more of that before this one's over.
Here's Nylander trying to sneak in down the left side. Throws a nice pass back to Jason. Clare with the save. Loose puck. And now he's on top of it with 17 left to go in the Flames power play.
Jason with the shot from the point, and a big body in front of Wade Flaherty and Sandy McCarthy. You're going to see the puck coming around. Nylander has it. Jason's going to let the shot go, and look at McCarthy right there. No Sharks around him. Finally, Peterson had to come in a couple seconds later to push him on out of there, but he was all over Wade Flaherty.
There's Chris Mullen and Joe Morgan. I don't know if they're enjoying the game. I guess they would have to be Calgary Flames fans to do that, and I would suggest they aren't. They look pretty much like everybody else here.
At least they're enjoying the food.
Yeah. Jason's shot misses wide, and Cronin will clear it out. Trevor Kidd, who has not really been all that busy, and certainly not the focus of attention in this game as he may have been in the first two to some extent. There's been any jitters demonstrated tonight. It's been by the Sharks in front of the home crowd, not by the first-year playoff goalie Kidd, who has really been tested a lot. Only 7 Shark shots in the game. Here's Ronnie Stern, who scored that goal that sent Urbe to the bench back in the first period. Musil throws it in. Joel Otto behind the net. Out of Flames, trying to make a play as Kissio is wrapped up by Cronin, sent to the ice. Teams are back at even strength as Cronin and Kissio freeze the puck. Penalty coming up here. Hard to tell who it's against.
Jason Moore was going at it with somebody there, but when you see a scrum like that and all kinds of guys fighting for the puck, it certainly looks like the impression there that it could be going to Ronnie Stern, as he's the guy who's heading to the penalty box. Yep.
So Stern, who is not a stranger to the penalty box, sits down here. And the Sharks will get a power play.
One of those I can't understand why penalties.
Cross-checking the call at 10:09.
Well, you know, that puck was behind the net. 3 Sharks. Cronin was there, and so was Jason Moore, and jabbing and trying to kick the puck out. Stern just got that stick up and laid out the cross-check. There's an opportunity for the Sharks to maybe get themselves going here and take advantage of a power play.
5th power play try for the Sharks. They've generated some shots, but the problem lies in the shorthanded goals they've given up. 2 of them. Here's Makarov with Larionov and Whitney as Sergei goes wide on the right. Lost it as Musil was thinking about checking him. Now Ozolinsh with it. He backs up to the left point. One-timer by Rafci missing wide. Now Larionov again on the boards. Ozolinsh back to Rafci. Doesn't have time for the shot this time. Ozolinsh makes a nice play to control. Here's Makarov in front. Rafci a blast, scores!
Birthday present for Mike Rafci. Here's Makarov with a good scoring opportunity, but he loses it. I think Whitney may have got a piece of it too, and that puck comes back nice and slow to Mike Rafci, who's got a great shot, and he lets that one go through traffic. Here's the Sharks controlling the puck. Look at Makarov right there, just losing it at the last minute. Here comes Mike Rafci, and boy, when you get that puck coming back like that, lying flat with the shot he's got, no goalkeeper's going to have a chance on that one. And Mike Rafci gets the power play goal for the Sharks.
His second playoff goal, and the Sharks cut the lead to 4. 9 minutes left here in the second period. Whitney and Makarov get the assist as Friesen has it. He's upended at the blue line, and the puck comes back to Ronnie Stern. He'll dump it in for Calgary. Nieuwendyk will touch it up with an offside call. Back at the blue line by Roy Scapanello, and we will pause. With 8:43 left in the second period, Calgary leading 6-2. Back live at San Jose Arena, Randy Hunt along with Pete Stemkowski. Glad you're along on Sports Channel. The Stanley Cup playoffs round 1, and a rocky home opener for the Sharks after 2 brilliant performances on the road at Calgary. And there's a couple of guys who were
family members.
Those 2 guys were in Calgary. They were.
Oh, that's right.
Those are the fellas. A couple of people travel up there, and
young and old here at the San Jose Arena tonight.
Of course, these fans here in San Jose in this building has such a great reputation around the NHL as being so loud and so supportive. It's been awfully difficult to get into this one in that vein because it unfolded all so quickly. A mere 5 minutes in, and Calgary already led 3-0. Loose puck in the Calgary zone, jumped on by Trevor Kidd, and he will hold it there with 8:22 to go in the second period. And if the Sharks can get out of this period with a couple more goals, they can certainly head to the third period thinking they have a chance.
Well, we talked about them closing the gate the rest of the way. Already given up 6. There's that puck lying, rolling harmlessly out in front, and Trevor Kidd sees an opportunity to get out there and jump on it. That's exactly what he does. 16-8, the shots on goal right now in the Calgary Flames' favor.
Of course, Pete, one of our great challenges is to extract positives in times like this. The Sharks have 5 power play goals in this series, and they haven't even played 3 complete games yet. That's positive.
Also, I think Kevin's going to get a chance to get guys like Odgers and Cronin and Nazarov some ice time. If we're in the playoffs, we're going to need everybody.
Jason Moore, a shot. Going for the tip was Baker. He just couldn't find it. But the Sharks showing a little bit of lift after that goal by Rafci. Good work behind the net, and Fleury flips it up to center ice. Cronin trying to hold off Ronnie Stern. Slowed him down. Now Moore with a nicely timed body check on Stern. Cleans the puck up. Miller didn't see it coming from Cronin. Flames get it back. Here's Cronin again, touching it up to the blue line. Sharks on a change here. They get caught. Fleury gets it back. Shot. Saved by Flaherty. It hits him on the hat and drops down to Craig Janney.
Another bad line change for the Sharks.
Janney plays it to the boards. Now trailing is Peterson. He tries to walk in. Stood up by Kesmer and forced to the boards, and Joe Nieuwendyk will send it down. It was he and Fleury on that 2-on-1, and Wade Flaherty thankfully was able to come up with the save.
Jimmy Kite got hit in the corner, and he stayed down there for several seconds, and then there you see the pain that he's in on the bench over there. I guess he may have just got a stick in the stomach and maybe lost his wind a little bit. We're going to see how this play happens in the corner. It's Nieuwendyk and Jim Kite, and look at this hit right there as Nieuwendyk just turned around and two-handed Kite right in the midsection there as the play was heading down to the other end. So referee didn't see it. Here's the 2-on-1. Nieuwendyk, here's Fleury with the shot. There's Flaherty coming up with the save, sliding across, that puck bouncing up and over, but Sharks heading for the bench and a line change, getting caught up in the scoring opportunity there for Fleury.
Hey, congratulations to Jim Kite and his wife Nancy. Nancy gave birth yesterday to their third child. There's a shot and a save by Kidd. Speaking of children,
a third boy on the forward line now.
Here's Reichel with Titov. Nice move against Ratchik, and then he lost the puck. Falloon out of the corner. Ahead to Janney. He has Tansel with, and Falloon on the right wing. Janney to Tansel, drops it for Peterson. Shot, and that went just wide. It may have gotten a piece of that. Sharks can't hold it in. Peterson takes a check after driving it into the zone. And now Peterson is cross-checked by Kelly Kissio, an injured Flame player. Robert Reichel, as he ran at Peterson, he came up injured.
What happened was Peterson really leveled Reichel. May have got the stick up a little bit, but you know, this is a lot of contact. There's a lot of hitting going on in this game, and Peterson gives him a pretty good hit. Here you're going to see the shot by Peterson. Now Reichel's coming into him, and that's a natural reaction for a player out there. When you're going to get hit, first thing you do is get that stick up to protect yourself, and that's what Tom Peterson did, and because of that, he's going to get a penalty.
Yeah, that was strictly instinct. I mean, somebody's bearing down on you. You're trapped along the boards. You've got to protect yourself, or you're going to get crushed.
Yeah, that's not exactly, well, he's still down. I'm sure he'll be okay, but that's the first thing that they ever tell anybody. If somebody's going to go running at you, get that stick up to protect yourself. That's what Peterson did, but it cost him a penalty.
Well, as they talk this over and sort this out, let's go to the British Airways playoff scoreboard. Vancouver leading St. Louis 3-1 in the second period. That series tied at 1. Detroit now with a 3-0 lead as they blow out Dallas 5-1. And Chicago wins on the road at Maple Leaf Gardens 3-2. And the Leafs now with a 2-1 lead in that series. Tomorrow, Quebec and the Rangers go in Game 4. New York up by 1 in that one. New Jersey leading Boston 2-1. Flyers ahead of Buffalo 2-1, and the Capitals leading Pittsburgh 2-1. In the IHL playoffs tomorrow, the Sharks' top affiliate, Kansas City, opens the Eastern Conference Final against Kalamazoo. And there's Reichel over on the bench. Seems to be no worse for the wear.
And right on the chin.
Fourth power play try for the Calgary Flames. There's Nylander throwing it rather precariously in front of his own net. Phil Housley out of there and Fleury. Fleury dumps it in. Nieuwendyk also out there as Flaherty comes way out, but does so successfully as it's cleared down the ice.
Well, Flaherty obviously much better. He's got a lot more confidence when he comes out. He knows exactly what he's going to do, and a goalkeeper can't be indecisive when he comes out. He's got a couple of options, but he's got to make up his mind what he's going to do. One thing that Arthur's Urbe has a lot of problems with.
Housley carried it out and then brought it back in. That's offside as Roy Scapanella spotted it from the other side of the rink. Well, it's not hockey without ice. Bud Ice and Bud Ice Light, the official beer sponsor of the NHL.
What do you do when you're Kevin Constantine in a situation like this? You're pretty pleased with the two things that happened up in Calgary, picking up the 2 victories, but you look up, still 5.5 to go in the second period, another period to go, and your team is down by 4 goals. And one of the people here finding something to do to catch up on some reading material.
Transcripts of the OJ trial there. Here's Reichel. As the Flames work for another minute with the man advantage, they lead 6-2, and Reichel couldn't hold it in. He's enforcing the issue, and Flaherty will deaden it behind the Sharks' net. Kite has it take a bad bounce. Flaherty covers up, still loose to Titov. His shot trickles through the crease wide. Strange bounces there. Now Reichel throwing it back to Chason. He delays on the shot. In fact, deliberately plays it off the boards back to Kissio. Now Chason one-times it, but doesn't get good wood. Friesen unable to control it. Puck doing strange things when it's on the sticks of Shark players tonight. Now Tansel with it at center. Muscled off the puck by Kesmer with 13 and counting left in the power play. Kennedy to Chason shot, and he drove that wide. That went up in the seats and stops the clock with 3 seconds left in the Calgary power play.
In the playoffs, discipline is so important, Randy. And I'm just looking over. That's about 3 or 4 times in this hockey game tonight that the Sharks have just had terrible line changes. Puck is in the neutral zone. You get guys that are skating towards the bench. Guys jumping on, just can't get into the play quick enough. Another situation right there. You got 1 Shark back, 3 of 4 Flames coming in. Here's Kite going behind, trying to drive the puck around the boards, loses it. Here's Reichel just at the last minute trying to drive that puck home, and just a step behind and unable to get it in. Peterson with 3 seconds ready to jump out there.
Otto and Whitney in the face-off circle. My goodness, Joel Otto won the face-off. Not to be facetious, he's probably the best in the NHL at the face-off, and he has put on a clinic again in these playoffs.
The strength, and he uses it very effectively.
Cruz behind the net as the teams are at full strength again. Kennedy takes a hit from Ozelich. The Flames aren't going to get out of this unscathed if they do go on to win it. Sharks showing some inclination to punish them a little bit. Finally kicked loose, and Makarov has it. Sergei Makarov gives it away, but it's offside. Otto received it just over the blue line, and a good thing he did. 6-2, we'll be right back on Sports Channel. The Giants come back to the stick to take on the young Pittsburgh Pirates this weekend, and Sports Channel offers you the entire 3-game series starting tomorrow with Sports Channel Game Time at 6:30. 3:44 left in the second period here. A lot of long faces at San Jose Arena. That's why Calgary leading 6-2. And if they go on to win this game, it would assure the series going back to Southern Alberta for, at the very least, a 5th game, which would be played next Monday. Still another game here at San Jose Arena Saturday, Game 4. As it's played back out to the blue line, the Sharks trying to get something going, and in fact cleared it all the way out.
Let's not talk about going back until the 3rd period.
Until we have to.
Yeah.
Here's Sullivan. Dishes for Kissio behind the net. Kite struggling there. He lost his edge. Now Kissio from the impossible angle to Stern, who fanned at the doorstep. Ronnie Stern won't get many more chances like that. Here's Nazarov into the zone, knocked off his stick. Back comes Kissio. Sharks do a much better job on the change there defensively as Rafchi and Ozelich are both back to cover. Flaherty, a nice job in the corner. Now at center ice, it's Falloon with Janney and Ozelich. Janney to Ozelich. Shot saved by Kidd. Rebound to Janney. Back to Ozelich. He plays it right into the shin pads of Paul Cruz. And now Joe Nieuwendyk 2-on-1 with Stern. Nieuwendyk to Stern. Shot it wide. Loose puck in front, and Falloon will steer it away. Nieuwendyk trying to keep it going. And it's Janney for the Sharks. Takes it to center. Sends it in as the Sharks are tired.
Talk about odd man rushes, and I could count on one hand how many the Sharks gave up in those first 2 games. And they must have probably given up about a half dozen of those already in this hockey game.
This seeing eye pass comes to Joel Otto. No miss from the bad angle as Cronin got there. Now Fleury bumps Miller just as they were both going to the puck, and Fleury has it behind the net. Aaron Fleury to the point. Kesmer shot blocked. It's still alive at the side. Flaherty looking for his stick, and he gets it back now as Dahlin controls and brings it to center ice. 1:44 left in the second. Dahlin carrying it into the Calgary zone. Kidd out of the net. Flips it off the glass. Drops right down to Theron Fleury. Here's Germán Tida with lots of skating room. Backing in is Kite. The shot blocked by Flaherty. Now Ozelich for the shots. Rogers had trouble controlling it. Comes back into the neutral zone. Fans reacting to action behind the play as Otto has it. Shot, tried to go for that short side, missed it. Now off the puck, Germán Tida roughing up Jeff Friesen, and that's a penalty to Tida.
Oh man,
That all back at the other end.
Well, you know, they were grappling against each other and pushing away, but then Titoff just turned around and high stick Jeff Friesen and slammed them down to the ice. You're going to see this to the right of your picture right here. There's Titoff right there. Look at that stick right up in the face area and slams him down. And with 1:12 left to go in this second period, the Calgary Flame player Titoff gets a 2-minute high sticking penalty.
18:48 time of the penalty. Well, if you want to project what the Sharks could use right here, it would be a power play goal to give them a lift going in.
Well, here's a 2-on-1 then with the Calgary Flames. Ozelinsh on the boards, but Joe Nieuwendyk jumps up into the play. He's got Ronnie Stern with him. He's going to give a nice pass to Stern, who may have aimed it a little bit here, trying for that far side, and just slides it past that goalpost.
Stern had 2 good chances on that shift. He does have a goal. That was back in the first period when there were a bunch of goals. Last minute of play in the period. Sharks on their 6th power play. They are 2 for 5. They'll have to back out and start again as Larionov has it. Sullivan up there, and boy, he is just looking around, looking for a turnover. He almost got one. Fleury loses his edge. Is there something with the ice? Here's Rathje.
It's the same for both teams.
Trying to get around Chason, who slowed him up enough for the Flames to recover. Joel Otto building up ahead of steam out of his own zone to center ice. Now to the blue line. Backing in is Larionov. It's a mismatch, but Otto is unable to control it as Flaherty steers it aside. That's the time left in the period as Makarov comes across the line, drops for Ray Whitney. Whitney to Makarov. Back for Whitney. From the line, Ozelin's shot. That's saved by Kidd. Rebound goes to Makarov in the corner. Played by Frank Musil up the board. Sharks hold it in, but they're running out of time in this period. Here's a pass in front. Kidd got his stick on it. And the period will come to a close with the Sharks threatening in front of the Calgary net, but unable to get that all-important goal heading into the dressing room. So Wade Flaherty and company will exit trailing by 4. Second period scoring. Kelly Kissio on the power play at 1:28. May have sealed this one when he made it 5-1. Then Joe Nieuwendyk in his first game in the series made it 6-1. Fleury and Sullivan assisting. Mike Rathje scored on his birthday. A power play goal to make it 6-2 from Whitney and Makarov. That was all the scoring in the second period. So at the end of 2 periods here in game 3, it is the Calgary Flames 6 and the San Jose Sharks 2. Now to our Sports Channel studios, Brian Weber and Jim Fox.
4-1 after 1. Kissio and Nieuwendyk scored to make it 6-1 after 4 minutes in the second period. Rathje counted on the power play 6-2 after 2 on the Super Lotto Intermission Report. Brian Weber back with Jim Fox inside our Sports Channel studios. Jim, from what we've seen over the last 20 minutes, it looks like the Sharks have put the Flames in the position to be doing the number on them that they are.
I really think so. I don't think the Sharks have really had the game taken away from them by the Calgary Flames. They've been out of position a couple of times. They've been standing around. I think Peter Stemkowski mentioned a couple of times. The Sharks are a little tentative, so they're 1 step behind. And if you're 1 step behind, you're not going to catch up. You're going to be out of the play. So, the Flames have driven to the net, but the outnumbered attacks, the bad decisions by the Sharks have given them the opportunities.
Any positives? Well, the second period?
I think that's one thing that Kevin Constantine was really going to concentrate on. He's going to have to turn everything around mentally on the off day tomorrow if the Sharks can't come back and get in this game. And he's going to look at some positive things. A couple of things on the telestrator starts with a penalty kill and no second chances here for the Calgary Flames. You're going to see a big man, Sandy McCarthy, set up right in front of Wade Flaherty. Now, certainly he's going to set up the screen and do the job. The shot will come through, and we're going to see Tom Peterson. He's outweighed here by 30, 35 pounds. He just cross-checks, get McCarthy out of the way, no second chance, and Flaherty's allowed to catch up right there and cover up on the play. So not many things going well for the San Jose Sharks, but certainly Peterson, a smaller man, clearing the front of the net.
And they can emphasize success on the power play. The Sharks have struggled mightily all year long on the specialty teams.
It's been a big turnaround for the Sharks on the power play in the playoffs. And you can see they're shooting the puck more, so the Calgary Flames have to take that play away. We're going to go to the telestrator again and see the gap develop. The puck is at the point here, but look at the Flames forwards. They're out high. There's a big gap in here. They're trying to take away that point shot. They know the Sharks want to shoot. Not great passing here, but watch Ozelinsh picks it up off the board. Stop it here. Now you see that big gap again that's developed in front. Okay, the Flame has to take the man in front, but there's a big gap between the penalty killers. Ozolinsh gets it through. Broken play, comes back to Rashi. He just leans into it. The goal develops off a broken play, but again, the Sharks have given the Flames something that they have to take away. They know the defensemen are going to take shots on goal. They're going to get them through, so they're playing out further. The gap is developing. If it keeps going in the series, the power play will always be important.
In the last intermission, we talked about the emotional value of the return of Joe Nieuwendyk. We saw it on the ice, why he's among the premier players in the NHL.
Again, Brian, I think it adds to the depth of the the Calgary Flames, because when Nieuwendyk comes in there, they have other big guns, but Nieuwendyk is the leader, and it gives the Flames, the Sharks, too much to really react to. And going back to what we were talking about, I think the Sharks have given the Calgary Flames a lot of goals. So it's not like the Flames have really come back in and taken over and crushed and run over the San Jose Sharks. But Nieuwendyk, and the presence of any captain, big, fast, strong on the puck. He's driven wide a couple of times. Got the assist on the first shift of the game, and I think that really set the tone for the Calgary Flames. They went off from there.
And too many odd man rushes for the Flames coming in at Wade Flaherty. Other action tonight in the NHL.
Well, here's the numbers so far. Calgary outshooting the Sharks by 7, outchancing them by better than 2-1. Sharks have scored a couple of power play goals on 8 shots and relatively few penalty minutes thus far, only 22. Pete, the soccer coach, made a good point, Bob McNabb, when he said that Kevin Constantine knew this was going to be a very difficult game, and he may not be all that surprised at the way it's gone, because Calgary was literally playing for their lives.
Yeah. Well, you know, Randy, when you get into this situation in the playoffs, there's never an easy game. And, you know, we talk about the veteran players. They got 4 guys who were on that last Stanley Cup team. So they're going to go down. They're going to go down with quite a fight. And they were prepared to play, got on the board real early. They're playing a very good game defensively, not giving the Sharks a lot of scoring opportunity. So with 20 minutes to play, I'm sure what Kevin Constantine is saying is, forget about the score, just win this period.
All right, and the players making their way back on the ice as we go to break. Time for Old Spice Trivia here on Sports Channel. Who is the youngest starting goalie to ever win the Stanley Cup? We'll be back to reveal that wisdom to you when we come back in a moment. Hockey Trivia, who is the youngest starting goalie to ever win the Stanley Cup? The answer is Patrick Roy. He was just 20 years, 7 months when the Montreal Canadiens won the Stanley Cup in 1986. And, of course, he has gone on to become one of the great ones in the game among active goalies. Well, time to look at the British Airways scoreboard. Vancouver leading St. Louis 4-1 in the second. That series even at 1. Detroit's gone up 3-0 now on Dallas as they beat the Stars 5-1. And Chicago gets it done on the road. They beat Toronto 3-2. Tomorrow, Quebec and the Rangers with New York up 2-1. Boston and New Jersey, Devils leading 2-1 in that affair. Flyers leading 2-1, face off against Buffalo. Pittsburgh and Washington with the Capitals leading that series 2-1. And as we mentioned before, Kansas City opens the Eastern Conference Final in the IHL tomorrow against Kalamazoo as German Titov sits in. As interesting as we looked at those scores, Pete, of the games tonight and the games tomorrow, every other series has gone to 2-1 except the Detroit-Calgary series, series in this one. And they face off at center ice to begin the third period. And the Sharks just want to have a strong period. It turns into a miracle, fine, but they want to leave this building with something positive, even if it isn't a victory.
Winning the 20 minutes would be something at least positive heading into Saturday night's game.
This is Sandis Ozolinsh. Steers it away from Otto, and it hits Otto anyway. Now Whitney on the loose puck, but he was offside. Well, the game story tonight was written very early. The Flames were hot, the Sharks not. Now what? Well, there's still almost a whole period left here, but if the Flames go on to win, Herbe and the Sharks will be back here on Saturday night to try and regroup in Game 4.
Martyrs didn't last long. 7:15 of the first period. He was gone after the Ronnie Stern goal, and Wade Flaherty is getting a taste of the NHL in the playoffs for the first time.
When you look back at the first 2 games of the series, yes, the Sharks got terrific results, but it was very difficult. Calgary had goals disallowed in both games. The Kissio one that went off his skate. There's Tansel pulled down by Fleury, but no call from Mark Facetta was right on top of the play. Ozolin's shot. That one hit Zalapsky and comes back. Now a breakaway for Sullivan. Mike Sullivan. A hat trick! A playoff hat trick, the night of his life. Mike Sullivan. And the Flames lead 7-2. Unbelievable night for the former Shark.
Well, I'll tell you what, a great pass coming out of the zone, and Sullivan was right on that red line, so that was not a two-line pass as he gets the high fives from his teammates. And here's the pass coming from inside the zone. Look at this great pass by Titoff, and Sullivan skates right on that red line, so it's okay. Coming in, sees exactly what Flaherty gives him, a little bit of room on that stick side, and no mistake there for Mike Sullivan. The third goal of the game for him.
Check his temperature. Mike Sullivan is the series scoring leader with 7 points. And Calgary has a 5-goal lead back. What a night for the former San Jose Shark. Picked up on waivers.
What a pass by Titoff, though. I mean, that was, there wasn't much room there, and he just got that one perfectly on his stick. And Sullivan's got great speed, got that one, and just sailed on home and made no mistake on it.
Fleury's third assist of the night. Titoff got the other on that great pass. Sharks fire it in from the left side. Fleury trying to lift it clear, held in by Peterson. Fleury's got it again. And the Flames break out. Here's Titoff trying to get around Kite. Titoff moving in. Flaherty save, rebound. Nieuwendyk scores. It's 8-2.
Talk about following up on the play. The defenseman will take the guy with the puck, and the goalkeeper's back there too, but you got to look for those guys that are coming in late, and Joe Nieuwendyk just follows up, and everybody's down. Flaherty's out of the net, and Joe Nieuwendyk had easy pickings right there. And look at the transition by the Flames. Outstanding. Titoff coming in. You see Nieuwendyk there on the left of your screen coming in. Flaherty's gone. No problem for Joe Nieuwendyk as he steps in there and gets his second goal of the game. There you see the crash. Titoff in, and there's Nieuwendyk there. Had no trouble putting that one into the empty net.
Joe Nieuwendyk back in this series in a big way. Now you could call that garbage time, but still, he was there trailing on the play to get his second tonight. Fleury and Titoff, that same line who scored 58 seconds before, still on the ice, and they are really putting it to the Sharks. Here's Ozolin's backhand, saved by Kidd, and then cleared by Zalapsky. Save off Nazarov's effort from the blue line. Now Titoff, as the Flames are just trying to fatten their playoff stats. Here's Ozolin's trying to haul it in at the blue line. Zalapsky had him tied up. Puck comes free to Larianov. He misses wide.
Well, Flames got 8 goals in this one. I'm sure thoroughly satisfied with that, but I'm sure as the series continues, they maybe wish they could put a couple of them away and save it for a later day. So maybe they're just getting it all out of their system, hopefully, in this one tonight.
Hopefully. The last time the Sharks played in Calgary in the regular season, the Flames scored 8. That was a less than memorable night, at least for the Sharks.
It's one of these you can see right now. Puck's in. No Shark wants to go back at it. Guys who are on the ice can't wait to get off, and the guys who are on the bench don't want to go on. That's just about what the situation presents itself right now.
Well, typically the coaching staff breaks down the videotapes of a game right after the game and the next day. In this case, Pete, I say burn the tape. I don't know what you can possibly learn. So many things have broken down that it will take a couple of days just to sort it all out.
I'm sure that if the Calgary would agree to and the fans would, Sharks would almost let the clock just run, even on the stoppages. Just let it run, get this thing over with, regroup, and get ready for Saturday.
Stern just floats it in, and Flaherty will control it behind the Sharks' net. Now, it doesn't matter how many you lose by.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Still going to be 2-1 if the Sharks lose this, as it appears they will. And the Sharks still lead the series and still have home ice advantage in the series.
You know, the thing is, Randy, in games like this is where you really judge character on a team. Everybody's a great winner, And when you're down and things aren't going well, you look at the guys who are coming through.
Here's Otto, and that one got part of Flaherty and then went over the net. As it comes around the boards, Kennedy back at the point. Shot wide as Zalapsky unloaded. Here's Nylander centering for Kennedy. Shot, and Flaherty turned that aside. Here's Kesmer, as the Flames now are shooting at will. Finally, Kite tries to slow things down as he took Kennedy out of the corner. Kesmer floats it back in, and this is almost a mercy play because the Flames wanted to change. Here's Falloon down the right side. Shot, saved by Kidd. And Zalapsky has it. Charlie Zalapsky up the middle of the ice. Tried to send it through for Nieuwendyk. Fleury and Rathje go to the corner.
Keep the hands down!
Now Tansel trying to get it away from Mike Sullivan. Do you have any more on him tonight? Here's Falloon, and he can't control it. Sharks will change.
The stick's got a magnet in it. Where he goes, the puck seems to end up.
Housley dumps it in as Urbe will collect it. Or Flaherty rather, and now Baker with it. Baker. Backhand for Miller, who leaves it for Ozolinsh. On the rush, it's broken up. Kissio chops it into an open spot. And Kevin Miller sends it back in. Rogers out on the ice on this line with Baker. Here's Tita. He has Musil with him on the left. Sharks getting back. And the pass just out of the reach of Frank Musil. Cronin couldn't get it away from Kissio. Kelly Kissio, who has one of the Calgary goals.
Almost at the stage like who doesn't? Sullivan's got 3. A couple of power play goals, a couple of shorthanded goals in this one.
And Chason with that shot, followed by Cruz, overskates it. Now it comes to Larionov. And they'll turn it back over to Chason, who'll fire it in. You ever score 3 in a playoff game? Yep.
I can't remember, it happens so often.
Yeah. Here's Makarov down the right wing, gave it up to Chason, and the Sharks are chasing back into their own end. 13 minutes left in this third period. Calgary unable to get to this one. Now Nazarov onside, shot wide. And Zalapsky did a pretty good job against a big man to force Nazarov wide on that play. Peterson tripped. This will be a penalty on Cruz just as soon as the Flames were able to control it. And Makarov sending it to Larionov. Flaherty's out of the net for an extra skater. Here's Peterson, and now Cruz has it. And the whistle blows, says the Sharks will get a power play here in the third period. But it's Calgary leading 8-2. We'll be right back. Well, don't despair. We'll be right back this weekend when the Sharks host Calgary in Game 4 at San Jose Arena. Sharks facing off against the Flames at 7 o'clock with Sports Channel Game Time exclusively here on Sports Channel. Paul Cruz in the penalty box for tripping. And the Sharks are on a power play here as Jeff Friesen controls it. Rathje playing it down low. Dahlin kicks it to Whitney, and he one-times it just wide. Pretty nice play by Dahlin. Now a check on Fleury, and that elicits a cheer. Here's Rathje, and he just missed. Rathje getting some time, and when he gets time to unload that cannon of his, look out. Here's Dahlin. Fighting for position with Chason. Then he loses his edge. Friesen comes up with the puck, bumped by Housley. Now Dahlin along the boards, heads toward the point, throws it toward the front, but Housley read the play and breaks it up for the Flames.
You got to give the Flames credit. Boy, I'll tell you, they're playing almost, in as much as the Sharks aren't in this one and never were, they're just playing great positional hockey, bumping the Sharks off the puck. Hungry, a lot of desire. Everything is going their way tonight.
Janney to Falloon now. He pulls up, finds Ozolinsh open, bouncing puck though, and he couldn't haul it in. And that pretty much tells the story of the way the bounces have gone the other way. And I guess, Pete, after the way Game 2 ended, the Sharks were due for some bounces against, because that was the bounce of all bounces on the winning goal. Here's Peterson across to Falloon, sets up, back through the slot, just too far ahead of Chris Tansel. Tight back to Janney. Then Kite tees it up. Save by Kidd, and he'll hold it there.
Well, one of the keys in this game was crashing the net, and there was Kidd. He must have come out 5 feet out of that net to make the save, and no Shark anywhere near him.
Well, there's Theoren Fleury, unquestionably the leader inspirationally for the Flames. After game 2, he said, they got the breaks, they've got clearing passes going around the boards. It goes right to their guy and they whip it in. If that's not luck, I don't know what is. And he's right. That was clearly a play that was at least premised initially on luck.
What are you talking about, the winning goal?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna thank the Carpenters Union up and send them a gold lunch pail up there, because that hit the seam just perfect. Yeah,
absolutely.
Guess maybe Fleury does have somewhat of a point there,
but you need luck to win, and that's part of every winning performance to some extent. The Flames took advantage of their luck here in a big way very early in this game, when the Sharks were kind of flat-footed and came out without the energy one might have expected given the circumstance, and they sensed it, seized the opportunity, and seized control of this game very early on, and it's been that way throughout the game. Here's Tita as he steals, and Baker will advance it toward Kevin Miller, but no further.
Another guy who's done well for the Sharks, Tita in this game. Got a few points.
A couple of assists.
In
the neutral zone, Odgers drops the gloves, he and Cruz, but Cruz is down, and Odgers, to his credit, Cruz was down with his face on the ice. Odgers held back. We'll pause. Come right back. Odgers and Cruz have gone to the penalty box.
Jeff Odgers trying to jumpstart his team here. You're going to see the collision and what happens after. Here comes Cruz. He levels a pretty good hip check on Jeff Odgers, and Odgers looking to get this team going a little bit. Gets a good right hand in there, knocks Cruz down, and both guys heading to the penalty box. Is very concerned Kevin Constantine looking on, and
that will be an extra penalty given to Odgers. He got the 4 for the roughing, so a power play for Calgary results. 2 minutes to Cruz for roughing.
Talked about the players who have played in all the games for the Sharks this year. Ozelin, Friesen, and Jeff Odgers played in all 48 games for the Sharks this year.
Well, Sports Channel knows it's not easy to get to the ballpark for those weekday ball games, so we're bringing them home to you. Tune in Monday for Sports Channel Light, a 1-hour condensed version of non-televised A's and Giants day games, hosted by Glenn Kuiper. The Giants face the Cubs Monday at 7, right here on Sports Channel. And there's Joe Morgan, and of course anybody who's been in the game of baseball has been involved in blowouts. And
did he have that little hitch in his arm when he
yes,
batted?
He did.
That's the guy, right? He used to flick that right hand there.
The big red machine.
Yeah, I can do that good, see that?
Well, you talk to a baseball manager the day after a blowout when they get ready for their next game, they don't want to talk about it. It's another day, another game. It's history, forget it. And that's pretty much the way the Sharks have to treat this. They have not played well. Clearly, Calgary's been on top of their game, and you have to take it from there.
You keep your emotions at an even keel. I mean, you win, you lose. When it's over, it's over. Brief celebration if you lose, and go to the drawing board and regroup.
Here's Kissio behind the net. Sorry, Pete. As the Flames are on a power play here, but they're not really committed to making much happen, I don't think, with the situation being such as it is. Ozelin pulls up, throws a pass behind Kevin Miller. Kissio takes him to the boards. And now Phil Housley with it for the Flames. Ahead for Joe Nieuwendyk. Back up the middle, Housley tried to finesse that one in, but shot it wide. Not going to beat too many goalies with that shot from that far out. Here's Nylander behind the net to Nieuwendyk. Housley with it. And right now Calgary showing some mercy here. Housley in front. There's the shot right into Flaherty by Nylander, and he'll hold it there with 49 to go in the power play. And really there's not a whole lot to be gained for the Flames here by piling it on, except by maybe infuriating the Sharks a little bit. That's a consideration if the Sharks feel that they're being inflicted upon a worse harm than already has. It's 8-2. This game is pretty much history, and everybody on both sides of the ice knows it.
Well, Randy, you know, they got 2 minutes to kill here, 9-12 in regulation, so they figure, well, we got the power play. Why not just use up all 2 minutes of it and get that clock down even farther?
Kesmer wheels it around for Reichel. Nylander got a bit of a tip. Kite rides him to the boards. Now Fleury out of the corner. Fleury from behind the net, and a penalty as Fleury's upended.
I think it's pretty obvious that Jim Kite's going to get a penalty, and I would guess it's going to be a slash.
And the whistle blows with 8:47 left, and the Sharks will be shorthanded again. Now Kite and McCarthy tie up, but I think McCarthy may have blindsided Jim Kite there. I don't think he saw McCarthy throw that punch, and
well, McCarthy's going to get a...
That's an instigator for sure. He'll be thrown out of the game.
Well, what he's doing is he's going and protecting his star player, Fleury, as Kite really gave him a two-hander. And
won't he be thrown out of the game?
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, he's going to go to the locker room. Yeah. There's no question about that.
And, you know, one can't necessarily blame the Flames here. Fleury's their star. They felt he was roughed up when this game was well in hand, and that's the way you sort that out.
Let's take a look at this penalty. Here's Fleury going behind the net. Now there's the chop, and now it's going to come again. There's another one right across that forearm of Fleury. And
a couple of pretty nasty slashes there.
Well, there's no question that was a penalty, and now everybody's going to question what the severity of all these calls are. And Dodgers over there, and Kite's in the middle, and Nazarov's over on the other side. There's no room for anybody else in there, that's for sure.
Mark Fawcett discussing this with Joel Otto, and everyone would rather be on their way to their respective places of residence at this point, but there are still 8:47 left to play in this one, and the business has to be sorted out of these penalties.
I did not see exactly what McCarthy did to Kite. I know whether he came up from behind and sucker punched him or what, but he gave Kite a pretty good shot, and Kite went down immediately and realized that if he got up, he probably wouldn't have much of a chance because McCarthy was prepped and ready to go. So we've got the penalty calls coming in right now.
Darren Fleury's taken his knocks tonight, hasn't he? But just look up at the scoreboard. He has responded. Big night for Fleury. 4 assists, although 3 of them came when the game was in hand, but certainly his presence early on, as well as Joe Nieuwendyk, don't underestimate it. The first shift he was on the ice, the Flames scored, and he got an assist. But those two typically are going to have good nights whenever the Flames win.
Well, big players, big plays, and big games. And you fall down 3-0 in any series. I don't care what the talent level of its two teams. To ask a team to come back and win 4 straight is an awfully difficult task. So the Flames knew they needed this one, and they're going to get it.
Just in case you're scoring at home, Kite got 2 for slashing. McCarthy got 2 for roughing in a 10-minute misconduct. So he did not get an instigator in that situation, but he's still out.
Yeah, so Calgary's on the power play.
For 10 more seconds and ticking down. Rafchi back. Gives to Larionov. Michael will force it back in the zone. And now we get a whistle. Very late call at the blue line by Ron Asseltine as you look at Igor Larionov.
Very quiet game for Igor Larionov. Sergei Makarov, no shots through the first 2 periods. Larionov has had 3 shots. Ray Whitney through the first 2 periods had no shots on goal. And game 2, that line was quiet. And once again, the same thing here in game 3. The Flames are really keeping a close watch on that Igor Larionov line. Well,
check out the baseball scores.
Let's see where the Expos are.
No sense leaving. The seat's comfortable. It's nice and cool in here. And the beer's cold. Here's Makarov. Thought about leaving it for Nazarov. Now headmans it to him, but he was thinking one play back, and Kidd will hold it there with 8:07 left on Sports Channel. 8-2 the score here in the 3rd period, and this series appears to be going to a 2-1 advantage for the Sharks if the Flames hang on here, and they have a 6-goal lead. Here's Nylander at center ice. Flaherty turns that aside. Now Mike Rafchi with it. To Makarov. No lead for Larianoff. Igor unloads and hits Musil with it. And Kidd has it pop up onto his stick and in the glove. And Trevor Kidd, I guess, is happy for a less than busy night after the first couple of games. Sharks with 39 shots in game 2 to set a team playoff record. And Kidd was criticized in Calgary for his lack of composure, if you want to call it that, in the first 2 games of his playoff life, but this will help him.
Well, you know, I think that, you know, the guys up front realize that they do have a rookie back there. They like him, and he's only had 19 shots against them, and I think maybe 1 or 2 have been on the difficult side, so everything's been out. Been able to see most of them. No rebounds or anything like that coming up in front of them.
Here's Peterson, and Musil blocks that. Joe Nieuwendyk with it. Nieuwendyk with 2 goals tonight. If you add that to his regular season goals, he has 21 goals against the Sharks. That's a career for some veteran defenseman.
6 in the regular season and 2 here tonight, so he's got 8.
Dahlin out of the corner, right in front, Friesen got a touch of it. Kidd stopped it with his stick, and now he lunges out to smother it with Whitney cruising around in front. Well, this season, Sports Channel becomes the exclusive local television home of Bay Area roller hockey action. A 16-game schedule of live Oakland Skates and San Jose Rhino games in 1995. Action begins June 3rd from right here at San Jose Arena as the Rhinos host the Skates, live at 7:30 only on Sports Channel. Well, those hats have been turned into something else. Tough night for the fans here.
Are those rally caps?
Yeah, a tough night for the fans, Pete. In all truthfulness, this game really got out of hand 5 minutes in when it was 3-0, and it was awfully difficult for the fans to feel that they were able to make a difference in this game. And it's frustrating sitting through a hockey game like this when you paid to see it. And that's why you can't predict what's going to happen. You pay your money and you take your chances. But the Sharks are bound to come back with a much different effort on Saturday, I would think. These things just don't happen that often to anybody in the playoffs, and nothing like this has happened to the Sharks before, certainly. Here's Ozeling, back for Janney, broken up by Housley. Janney got a touch of it, Kidd will cover it up in the crease, and hold it there. Sharks did lose to Detroit in game 6, 7-1, and then bounced right back and won the deciding game of the series.
Oh yeah, this is just getting a bad one out of your system, and the Sharks and getting a scoring opportunity here, but then you're going to see how quickly the Flames come in and cover up for Kidd as Tamsel's in there taking a whack at it. Janney was in the vicinity, and Nils Housley came in there and pulled things away. There's another guy who's expecting an addition to the family and could come as soon as tomorrow.
Yeah, Chris and his wife expecting, due at any moment, could come tomorrow, could come tonight, could be coming right now. We just may not have been alerted. But Chris and his wife with a 2-year-old son already, expecting their second. It's been baby city for the Sharks this week. Peterson drifts one over the Flames net off a tip. This is Reichel with 6.5 minutes to go. Janney ahead to Falloon. And the Sharks had gone offside, and with Falloon touching it before it came out, the whistle blows, and they will do a face-off in the neutral zone.
Well, Andrei Nazarov is jumping up and over the boards, and that's the thing that I think Kevin Constantine right now has to get these guys some playing time. Odgers, Nazarov, and well, how many things are going through his mind? What they're going to do tomorrow? How does he react to his players? Does he give them a tongue lashing, or does he just feel that this was one that just got away and just wasn't meant to be tonight? But you know, there's got to be some soul searching and getting back on the right track here for the next game coming up Saturday night, because these Flames are no pushover.
No question, there's some bruised egos out there tonight for the Sharks, but egos can't come into it in the playoffs. You have to make the adjustment the next game, regroup, and move on. No sulking allowed. I think that Constantine, a lot of his work in what he has to say to the team will just be done automatically by them looking up at the scoreboard. They know.
Well, happy birthday to Mike Rathje, 21 years of age today. Can always say that he scored a goal on his birthday.
I would suspect 3 or 4 years from now he'll just leave out the final score.
Well, won't think of the game and just think of the fact that he scored a goal. You know, in this game, I mean, as much to the Sharks, you know, at this stage of the season, they know what they have to do to be successful, but I just think there was just too much standing around here. Not enough effort and not enough people getting involved to give this game a serious reason to win. They just weren't in it from the opening drop.
This is like one of those days when you've got a big job interview and everything goes wrong. You sleep in, spill coffee on your dress shirt, have a fender bender on the freeway, and then get lost on the way.
Your hair sticking up.
Larionov into the offensive zone, and he's quickly disposed of by Zalapski, who's had a strong game for Calgary. Penalty is going to result out of this. I don't know, it may go against Nazarov for the retaliation.
Yeah, they got a fight going here.
Now Nazarov tying up with Chason, I believe it is.
Nazarov is a big, strong guy, and if he gets those arms loose and starts swinging, Chason probably realizes that, so he's going to stay real close to Andre Nazarov.
Well, anybody who doesn't think that Nazarov's reputation isn't around the league already is very naive. Everybody knows what this guy is capable of. He's a strong, strong man. And he just wrestles with Chason, and that's probably a good deal for Chason, who certainly has not shied away from the rough stuff over his career, but would not be regarded in the same heavyweight category as that man.
Well, you know, I think it's good to, you know, to send the message through. We talk when games get out of hand a little bit, you know, you can't do much to change the scoreboard, obviously, but you tell the other guys, listen, okay, maybe you got us. You're going to win this hockey game, but we're going to be ready for you, and you're not going to be doing any pushing around come the next game. Here's Zalapski against Larionov right there, and now we're going to see Nazarov coming right there, and boom.
Easy, Andre.
Oh, man, did he
nailed Igor again.
Did he ever?
Igor was in the wrong place twice there.
Well, you know, just like it before, when Fleury took that hit from Kite and his teammate jumping in on him, Larionov, one of the main guys for the San Jose Sharks, getting roughed up by Zalapski, and Nazarov does the right thing by jumping in there and protecting his teammate.
Ronnie Stern and Jay Moore, a couple of guys who have been known to rough it up, talking things over here now with the linesman Ron Asseltine, and Chason's left the ice with 5:25 left. He gets 5 for fighting. Nazarov's gone 2. He gets 2 for charging and 5 for fighting, and this is really just prolonging the inevitable here, but messages sometimes want to be sent. Doesn't look like a whole lot of bad feeling between those two, Moore and Stern, at least for the moment. Asseltine might be telling him a joke, Pete. You ever joke with the officials on the ice? Crack a wise one?
Yeah, when you're up 8-2, you know, a lot of laughing and joking around. And over on the other side, these guys don't have too much to be happy about. You know, the big question coming up in the next game is, who does Kevin Constantine start in goal? As he put his #1 guy, Artur Zerbe, back in there? As Zerbe lasted all, what, 7 minutes of the first period before he got the hook.
It's a toss-up. They've both given up 4.
Well, you go, you know, with Wade Flaherty, but I would probably think that Artur Zerbe will be the guy who'll get the call Saturday night.
I would think so too, the way the latter part of the season has gone for Zerbe. This is the first poor outing for him in recent memory, as the Sharks got great goaltending down the stretch to get into the playoffs, and then he was certainly good enough in the first 2 games despite a couple of mistakes here and there, but tonight everything kind of collapsed around him, and it would be unfair, I think, to blame Zerbe for the 3-0 situation 5 minutes in. That was a collective effort by the Sharks, and he just happened to be the last line of defense.
You know, in goalkeeping, you got to have a little bit of luck sometimes. You know, pucks will hit you. When you're not, you know, get in the middle of the net, puck's going to grab you here, hit you there, and other times, and puck's going to look real big to you, and you're going to see everything, and pucks are dropping at your feet. Defensemen are going to be there to clear it out, and early in the game, shots catching corners, going in, and that happens to a goalkeeper. He just loses his confidence and can't get back in the groove. As Ray Whitney's going to sit out this penalty for Nazarov.
I got to tell you, Pete, a majority of the fans are still here, to their credit. Either that or they don't have anywhere else to go. Here's Housley into the corner. Kissio with it, and stripped of the puck by Ozelich. Tansel now, shorthanded shot, and Kidd with a nice glove save. Good reactions for a guy that hasn't been real busy all night. A little busier here in the third, but Trevor Kidd with a stop off Chris Tansel, bidding for his second playoff goal.
11 shots on goal for San Jose here in the third period as the breakout coming for the Sharks. Baker giving it to Tansel, who gets the line, makes a nice move over there on Zalapski, coming across, and as he's going to his left, Tansel tries to beat Kidd over on the right-hand side. Here's Tansel coming up and over. Housley's over there too, draws the puck back, and he tries to use Housley as a screen, and Kidd, who was sliding across, was able to stick that hand out right at the last minute to make the stop.
And the power play representing the 6th opportunity for Calgary as they face off in the flame zone. There's a look at Trevor Kidd. You know, Kevin Constantine, certainly no fool, and he said in the news conference, the informal one with the press this morning, this is going to be a long series. He was well aware of that coming in, and even after a 2-0 lead, felt very strongly that this thing was going to go 6 games, he said, and he speaks from experience. The Sharks were forced to 7 games in both their series last year, winning the first and losing the second. Here's Reichel to center ice. Fleury just sneaks by Lariana. And falling on top of it is Kennedy. There's Jim Kite skating it out of the zone with 4:10 left. This third period has been excruciatingly slow. Friesen was offside at the blue line, and they'll bring it back outside the zone.
There's been a lot of that offsides at the blue line for the Sharks because the Calgary defense very experienced. When you get guys like Zalapski, James Patrick, Steve Chason, they've been around a little bit, and you got a forward coming back, that gives that defense a chance to stand up and challenge that puck carrier, and when they do that, they slow things down and cause the offsides. Here you're going to see the offside as Kite is coming in. He's going to give it to Friesen. You see he's pulling himself offside there, gives it to Jeff Friesen. Now look, well, close, I guess. May have jumped across on time, but it really doesn't matter.
Here's Reichel throwing it to center, and Baker intercepts, comes across center ice to the blue line, and it's poked away. You know, I saw this earlier today, Pete, and I didn't want to mention it unless it mattered, but
it got something to do with my favorite soap opera?
No, it's interesting. Coming into this game, the Sharks were 5-1-1 in their last 7 games. The same record they started their year with, and then it all collapsed in Game 8. And this is Game 8 of another 5-1-1 stretch, and this has happened. Funny how that works. As Flaherty stops the shot from Stern, and there's 3:21 left. Sharks can start thinking about Saturday now. This one is decided. To Calgary, and they have led from 43 seconds into this game and never looked back. But it's about to all be history soon, and up next, Game 4. We will be right back here, starting afresh, anew. New material, Pete with maybe even a new haircut. And we'll be here on Sports Channel Saturday at 7 with Sports Channel Game Time exclusively here. Game 4 with the Sharks leading the series 2-1. And as we pointed out earlier, thanks to winning both games in Calgary, they still control home ice in this series. So a win on Saturday for the Sharks, if they bounce right back, as they have shown a tendency to do at times this year, will put them a win away from a series clinch with a chance to do it at home. Ifs there, wasn't there? If.
2 minutes.
Let's just wait till the game. Dumped in by Kissio, and not a whole lot of commitment by anyone here. Even Dieter Ruhl, the Oregon player, kind of just drifted off in mid-bar there.
I haven't heard him for a while.
And I think he's
he's halfway on
working on material for Saturday. I think he's putting an arrangement together up there. Here's Kissio, and he'll score. Kelly Kissio adds another garbage goal here as he beats Flaherty, and the Sharks now trail 9-2. Not that it matters, but Calgary is bound to have set some more records with that 9th goal. And former Sharks are having a pretty fair night here. Sullivan with 3, Kissio with a couple.
Here's the shot. He jumps into the hole, top of the face-off circle. And look where Flaherty is. He's way out, so there can't be obviously much room there for Kelly Kissio. But when things are going right for you, you're going to find those far corners. And there's Kissio right along the ice, stick side, and beating Wade Flaherty for a 9-2 Calgary lead. And they're coming down to 2.5 minutes here left in regulation.
Well, if this holds up, then it'll be the worst Sharks playoff loss. They lost 7-1 to Detroit last year. A 6-goal loss, but that one makes it a 7-goal deficit now. So this one will be not soon forgotten, at least by the people who keep track of those sort of things. The Sharks will try and put it out of their mind in about an hour.
Randy, you notice in the last 3 or 4 minutes, no Fleury, no Nieuwendyk on the ice. Dave King is saving those guys. No reason to put Nieuwendyk with that back. Him out there now. And, I haven't heard you call Fleury's name in the last 4 or 5 minutes.
I tell you, put Nieuwendyk out there now and he gets hurt, there'll be no King. Because that would not make any sense at all.
How early could Calgary once again making the change, and Fleury stays put, and even Joel Otto's not getting any ice time. And then over on the right, the captain, Joe Nieuwendyk. Boy, how has he made his presence felt tonight? Right early in the game at the 43-second mark, his first shift of the game, he gets an assist, and the Calgary Flames were on their way.
Boy, did he get some heavy and I thought unfair criticism in the Calgary press today, basically challenging his manhood and suggesting that he was maybe even faking his injury to some extent and not playing. And very unfair article directed at Nieuwendyk.
I wonder what they're going to write tomorrow.
Yeah, that tends to be the way it goes sometimes, particularly in the Alberta hockey press for whatever reason. They love you or hate you, but as we were talking about the other night in Calgary, there seems to be no middle ground, and I'm sure they'll love him after this. Rogers throws it up the middle. Jay Moore into the glove of Trevor Kidd. Kelly Kissio running into Moore after the shot. There's
Rogers is doing some pushing, shoving. Trevor Kidd, when called upon, a good steady game in the nets for the Calgary Flames. 24 shots that the Sharks have had, 30 for the Flames in this hockey game so far. But you talk about Joe Nieuwendyk, and you have to play with pain, in situations like this. But if there's any risk of any permanent injury or more severe injury, you obviously do not play in these games because your health is always #1. But
you talk to anybody with a bad back and they'll tell you that's not something you flirt with because
I think, Randy, it's got to be a muscular problem, because I'm sure if it was a disc and it was that serious that they wouldn't even consider putting him in there. But he's out there and he's done the job. He's got a couple of goals for the Flames.
He fought back from major knee surgery and reestablished himself as one of the premier big forwards in this sport, and some guy takes a shot at him because he's resting a badly hurt back. I don't quite get that. As Stern dumps it in, we're under a minute, and that's bringing up a cheer from the crowd here, as a lot of them have stuck it out. Heck, there'd be less than this at a Kings game if LA was leading 9-2 at this point. People would have hit the freeway about an hour ago. So the Sharks fans are going to suffer with their team tonight and hang in, a lot of them. Certainly enjoyed a lot of thrills here so far, and hopefully many more to come. This wasn't to be tonight. Housley just wheeling into the zone. Will they get 10? No. Flaherty will stop this, as Kissio really didn't drive for the net with authority, and maybe he didn't want to show up his old team.
Well, I don't think so.
No? You think he wanted that one?
No, I think hockey.
You think he wanted the hat trick?
You got 2 goals. You don't.
I guess.
Clear, if you're playing against your mother, you want to get that hat trick, and that was a great play by Phil Housley. Mind you, the Sharks just backing in, and just running this one out. But Kissio did jump in wide there, got a pretty good pass, but didn't get too much on it. And Flaherty was there.
Maybe these final 16 seconds will tick down without a whistle. It's been a long third period. When did it start? A couple of days ago? Whitney, one last rush with Friesen. And it's over. Let's come back Saturday, and let's try not to dwell on this too much longer, because it was a tough one to live through for the Sharks, tough one for their fans. The Calgary Flames have to be enthused. They were fighting for their lives to some extent tonight. Not many teams come back from 3-0 down, and now the Flames won't have to worry about that. They're back in the series. It's a fight again, and we'll move on to Game 4 on Saturday night, and you can expect the tempo to be right back up there. Sullivan made it 7-2 with his hat-trick goal. Nieuwendyk 8-2, Kissio 9-2, blah, 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 as the Calgary Flames inflict a 7-goal defeat on the Sharks here in Game 3. So it's all over for this night, but it's still a long series ahead by the looks of it. As the Sharks stumble out of the gate at home, they'll regroup and see if they can contend more successfully with Calgary in a couple of nights. Tonight's game was brought to you by Southwest Airlines.